same people who gave you that trust. There is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
He is himself actually has admitted that he bribed members of parliament, so...
he admitted that he bribed members of parliament?
Well, when he said...
The government.
Yeah, when he said that he gave the 10 million was for what?
We're always quick to point faults in somebody else before you look at your own faults as a person.
If it was Kanu's day, hii amuka naye leo, ungekuwa umeenda bali sana hii. So and we must celebrate you.
There are 600 million people now globally estimated to be living with diabetes in the world. So it is a major health problem. It's the largest single disease rising pandemic that we're dealing with right now.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu hawaulizi, na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje, kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning. Okay. Sorry, the talk back is on. I just have to say it because I don't know how else to say it.
Good morning.
What? There's something very wrong here. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on here.
It's still on.
Eh?
I'm always thought.
What? Hata siski.
Yeah?
I don't know what's happening.
Mimi nakusikia.
Don't unanisikia? There we go. There was something that was wrong, but it has been sorted. Good morning. Now let's start again. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was all right. Yes. It started on Friday.
Okay. Yeah, I was here on Friday.
Yeah, you were. I watched you.
Yeah. It was Jamhuri.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we broke a few windows, some cracked walls. Yeah. Jets were flying low.
Hello,
so,
yeah. People maybe wanted to jump into the arms of others, and it's not a love story.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mind started Friday. There was a requiem mass for my friend.
Yeah, Thursday. That was Thursday.
That was Thursday, yeah. Then Friday traveled to Bungoma. Burial was on Saturday, so it was pretty. Yeah,
I'm sure.
I mean, to the family of Kidagisa, I wish you strength, and for my friend Kidagisa, rest in peace, man. Not
Kabisa.
easy.
It's not.
It's not easy. You know, when you see your peers go like that, makes you look at life differently.
Sure, and you start to ask certain questions.
Yeah.
Indeed. Hi, Evie.
Ukoaje?
If you don't think you'll just sneak in here, alafu we don't say hello to everybody.
Napenda hizo piko kwenye kucha.
Piko ni nini? Oh.
Yeah, hizo ni piko, hizo si hina.
Si hina?
I mean piko.
Tofauti ni nini?
Just look at the color. That one's dark. Hina is always like coffee. Yes. Well, welcome to class.
Thank you. Floating like a dead fish in a pond. Essentially. Look, at the very least, I'm glad that you're okay.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, and coming into it this morning.
Yeah.
Starting Monday morning off.
Technology will do that thing.
I'm telling you.
You know, Monday.
Do you know what happens in this studio over the weekend?
A lot.
Hey, people come. The gremlins are left to play over the weekend, and then they're not gone quite yet Monday morning. It's the 15th of December. We're halfway through the month, and it is 15. Well, actually, no, it's 10 days to Christmas, and we're getting to it. It looks like it's going to be an interesting year. And just already the year has come to an end, and we're getting into a new one in 15 days, 16 days. So as we start this day, I just do hope that everybody is well. At the very least, that you're well. Those other things, we'll do them later. But first of all, let's just ascertain that everybody is okay. And then we'll get to it. This is a Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation at 6:15. It's Dennis Aseto and Okoh with you this morning as we get into these conversations. Evie, he's here. Good morning. Flavier is also there getting things done. And we're getting into the morning. Say, Joyline, good morning. We see you, my darling. And as we get into our conversation today, I'll let you know what some of those will be. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Get into the room, guys. Good morning. And as we start to have these conversations, our audience on KTN, we say a very good morning to you. We're getting into things today, and I know that some of you are getting on your way to work, closing things down for the year. Many people trying to get in that last hustle as you get through the day. That last hustle that will give you a little something so you can share with family and friends. I wish you grace, and that it will actually come through, and that you will then be able to work, and that you will be essentially paid for the work that you do. That's my hope for everybody today, and that Christmas will be meaningful this year as you get into it. So as we start the day, let us into some of the conversations that we'll have today right here on the Situation Room. The health conversation around what exactly Kenya has entered into. Health funding versus data privacy, what it actually means. Beatrice Cairo is a health economist and public policy expert. She will join us in the company of Victor Ndede, who is a tech and human rights expert. Did you know that such careers existed? They do. Both of them will be here in the room this morning at 7. At what cost? What does it actually mean? We've read the fine print. We've gone through the details. We've been told by, the president and the CS Health, as well as the PS Medical Services, that, you know what, guys, this is okay. This is above board. So let's look into the nitty-gritty just a little bit, and just, information spreading, and let Kenyans know what it is that they would be talking about. Technology and the future of elections. We had a first conversation with Bishop John C.W. Some of the things that they're going into. He's a governance expert, but we will also we'll prolong that conversation just a little bit with him today at 8:00 in terms of what technology can actually do for elections and through the electoral process. So that conversation we will have with him at 8 o'clock and, lay things bare a little bit. And then we'll talk with you at 9. That's what we'll do today, getting into things this morning. 9 o'clock, we'll have a conversation with you. We'll open up the phone lines. We will talk about certain things. Get it off your chest, folks. That's what we'll do at 9 today. That's what the Situation Room looks like this morning. Let's get into it, folks. Remember, the live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. We'll talk to you in just a minute. We've been going around the country, the continent, essentially. Tell us where we're landing today.
So today we are still in the continent, right? Not in any specific country, but today it is on a topical issue, which is on fairness, and many African societies speak on how one needs to be fair, especially when you're dealing with those who are below you, so especially if you're a leader, how are you handling your juniors, pretty much, if you are a president, how are you dealing with the citizens? If you are a king, how do you address or deal with those that would be your subjects? So here is a question where we say, they that dig the well should not be refused water. They that dig the well should not be refused water.
Absolutely. We partake in the building, we partake in the eating.
Yep.
I agree that it should be shared across board. Everybody who had a hand in it one way or another, we share together.
Yeah.
You don't it's not just the people who commissioned the project or the people who oversaw it.
Yeah.
Anybody who lifted a shovel, anybody who moved sand, anybody who made the final tap for water to be received. My friend, eat.
Yes.
That's what I say. That's what I say.
So it is all about, in the entire puzzle, right? Each and every single piece contributes to it being complete, So even the person who's digging the well is the reason why at the end of the day you'll enjoy that water. So you get to benefit from that well digger at the end of the day. So each and every single person and all that they bring on the table is part of the puzzle that makes it complete. Therefore, if you are the leader, remember, even the well digger deserves their fair share of respect, their fair share of remuneration for these projects to be complete. So treat them with respect, with fairness.
Absolutely.
True.
Treat them with fairness, treat them with respect.
And that will be pretty much the topical proverb the entire week.
The entire week.
Yes, touching on fairness.
Sawa. It's fairness that we're going into, and let's see what different African countries have to say about fairness. And let's say a very good morning to everybody who's tuned into the room this morning. Those who listen silently as you're getting about your business today, whatever that may be, whether it's getting to work, whether it's on the hustle, on the beat, as you're listening to this show this morning, thank you for doing that as we're getting into it. But let's say a very good morning to you. And we started off with Njeri, who says, good morning from Mombasa. If you close your eyes because of bad people around you, you will not see the good people passing by. I guess so. True. Open it. The good and the bad is what you will see, but you got to keep it open anyway. Robin Tobogo is tuning from Mombasa as well. Good morning, Spice. It says Kisa Daniel. Good morning to you. Good morning, Spice. FM tuned in from Tude, Mombasa is Joseph Okondo. We see you. Happy New Week to all. Jirongo's accident has a lot of suspicious questions, but anyway, let him rest. Ndukumonyesha Uko Pia. Desmond Otis, good morning. It is raining. It rained all night.
Yes.
It did. So indeed, may he rest in peace. And I know that the conspiratorialists, conspiracy theorists are out doing the bidding.
Yep.
But, first and foremost, may he rest in peace. And true, if there's anything untoward, may it come out. It eventually will.
Yeah.
Right? So ours is to wait and see. George Obuya says, good morning, everybody, from Kendu Bay. Leo says, good morning, Princess Ndu and Aseto, good morning to you. It's hard to correct someone who you worship and who, through connection, you merit the position you hold. Political masters don't accept no or challenge. Okay. Rogers Lai says, Abalheri nyote, kwa hii siku njema, asante sana. Very good morning to you. Mashari Njeri says, good morning, team. Spice Ndu and Aseto, watching from Portland in Oregon. Good morning to you. Tibbs Muge also says, good morning. SpiceFM team. Achieng says, good morning, tuning in from Somaliland with my friend Adebola. Okay, well, good morning to you. It's interesting. A Kenyan and Nigerian in
Somaliland, yeah.
Somaliland. Interesting. Okay, so Leo says the Jirongo staged accident, allegedly, leaves a lot of questions unanswered considering the vehicle involved in the crash and the vehicle manufacturers. Well, okay. I know, like I said, the conspiracy theorists are running amok with this already.
Yeah.
The Kikombe says, if you ever hear that 1 billion of your tax money is unaccounted for, visualize this. Since you were born, you are not even halfway into 1 billion footsteps. Focus, Kenya. Kuku haichinji. Hajichinji. Okay. Donge. Okay.
A chicken does not slaughter itself.
Exactly. Jimmy Munuthi says, good morning. It's the rain. I know. The rain is coming. There was talks before that, it's going to be a dry December. Well, the Met has come round on that and says perhaps it will not. We'll see some rain. This was an announcement yesterday that we'll see some rain. Those upper highlands and lower eastlands, southerly westlands. If you know where that is, well, there'll be rain.
Rainy,
yeah. Those places, there will be rain. All right. David Mangera says, good morning, Ndu Aseto and the entire TSR crew. Asante Sana, good morning. Godfrey says, we do it again this week, kabisa. Good morning, greetings from Atlanta. Nowadays, I don't hear Kenyans celebrate holidays. When I was young, I used to enjoy this holiday on a Friday. Things are tough. Cindy, on Friday, people would have gone crazy that it was Jamhuri Day.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Things have changed, man.
Guys, what's going on? Why don't people celebrate anymore the way they did holidays? Is it that people... What is it? What is it?
I mean, you see, if you do not have disposable income and access to spend, what do? You stay home. You need to save up on every little bit, because also remember there's Christmas.
Yeah.
So if you are pressed that much, then you decide to, let me chill. I'll
stay home.
I'll spend on Christmas,
I hear you. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Before it would have been a double celebration,
yeah.
Hold back.
And
Things
there
are
were
tough.
so many buses in Nairobi, school buses that ferried people in.
Yeah.
At Green Park Terminus, because I passed there in the morning as I was coming to work. Yo, those are many buses, man. Question is, why? Why do you have to fill up a stadium?
That's a good question. People didn't want to come. People are not able to come. So you kind of force them to.
Says a lot.
It says a lot. It really does say a lot. And you have to think into it, really. That's a good question, Godfrey, that we come to the realization that things, they have changed quite some over time. Eric Owar says, good morning. Good morning to you. David Magara says, good morning. The infrastructure fund is being launched today. What's your take, by the way, Aseto?
The infrastructure fund, the company, is being launched today. So question is, how different will it be from the existing parastatals that have gone down? I mean, if you don't know how to manage what you have already, questions are there on what different you bring in the table. I'm sorry.
My question is, how are they going ahead and launching the infrastructure fund when they had already said that public participation had to take place over the next 30 days?
Next 30 days, yeah.
So you're preempting a decision after public participation that it's going to go through anyway. So you go ahead and launch the fund.
Yeah.
You're going to give it a CEO and staff and all of this. You're going to get it done without having waited for this participation and going through parliament. So what are you saying to people essentially?
Are you surprised? Because even remember, the project that is the Limuru Mau Summit Road is also said it was launched without a contractor. So what exactly did you launch? Who's going to work on that road if there is no contractor?
What are you saying to Kenyans when you tell them, okay, we're going to have 30 days of public participation. It's going to go to parliament, who are your represented, who are your representatives, elected representatives, to then essentially say what it is you as Kenyans want or not want. But then you go ahead and do the thing that they're supposed to make a decision over, even before they've gone and done this public participation in completion. So what are you saying them? If it was not watershed, I would have answered that in a different way.
Yeah.
There's a symbol that you're essentially showing Kenyans at this point, that you can think whatever you want, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Constitution.
You know, there is something that former Chief Justice Emeritus said here. And he said, the only thing that we need as a country is constitutionalism to be part and parcel of each and every single person on a daily basis.
Doesn't matter.
And that means before you launch a project, before you do anything else, bring it back to the people who have donated that power to you so that they tell you exactly what they want.
Yeah, but by the fact that in this instance, you're launching the thing today. So you've basically told them that you can say whatever you want. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah. And remember, the aspect of public participation, I just got to think about it the other day. The reason why even the drafters of the Constitution put it there is because even as a president, for example, President William Ruto, of the 22 million registered voters, he was elected by how many voters?
About maybe a third of those.
A third of those, right? So that means that those who voted for you, that those who voted for the opponent, and there are those who did not vote at all.
Yeah.
And through public participation, all these people get to speak because you are a president, not only for those who voted for you. So public participation brings everybody on the table. So when you take that away from the people, who exactly are you leading? I'm sorry. I'm just asking. It's a difficult question, but it has to be asked.
It's true, but I mean, it's just the brazen nonchalance towards how you feel about what Kenyans think, for me, is like a slap in the face. And then you're adding insult to injury, you know? It just, to me, so all the things that the CS said here, in terms of, no, we're putting it up for public participation, we're going to take it to parliament.
It's just been watered down.
It's been thrown in the dustbin.
Exactly.
It's been thrown in the dustbin. So,
and that's why when someone asks, we never say anything positive about the government. Show me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We are all guided by the law. No one is above the law. When we choose not to operate within the law, what exactly are we doing?
But this is showing you that some people are above the law.
No, they are not. They think they are. I look forward to a point when we will have a leader who will just go after everyone breaking the law. Oh, my Lord. True. Please bring it in my lifetime. Please.
I hear you.
You know.
So I know it sounds like we're whinging this morning, but look, that's the situation. And, you know, that is actually being done today. So it's one to watch and see. So Dave, you know, it's being launched today. That's true. Just Nature says, good morning, guys. Change is inevitable. Indeed, that's true. Good morning to us, December babies. Okay, all of you December babies, Jennifer and Aseto, we see you.
Yeah, said 10 days.
10 days. 10 days to that day. Jeffrey Kanyugo says, good morning from Gong. And Washington Okechi says, good morning, SpiceFM family. You are fantastic, keeping us informed about Kenya current affairs while in the diaspora. Tuned in from Cambridge in Massachusetts. Good morning to you. Owene Molu says, good morning from Boito. Missed the long weekend as a dawn by a legit car, not a Japan Mercedes. Wow. Okay. Boangi Jua says, good morning. How are you all this blessed Monday? Well, you know, the heart is beating, the steps are moving, so, you know, we'll count that and then we'll take the next. Among the chances or by-elections in Kenya, is it madness for a lack of a layman? How do we test what? Okay, I'm not quite sure what you mean there. Robert Miner says, good morning from Doha. You are the radio super presenters taking issues head on. We are in a hole as a country and we continue digging. It would appear so.
Yeah.
It would appear so. And we have to ask the questions. Even if you're going to be sad a little bit, you have to ask the questions and keep pushing.
Sure.
Jeffrey says, they share the health data and now Israel is offering to provide security technology. It's becoming risky to live in Kenya. Is it now? Kenneth Jumba says, good morning, Ndwan Dennis. Good morning, Water, to all traveling. Safe journey. Be disciplined on the roads. Only God can shield us from the unknown. You know, Sam, you're right.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, actually, guys, it's going to be crazy because with all of people, I think this culture of going back home has started coming back over the last couple of years. I mean, since I've lived in Kenya, there was time where it was really heavy, and then sometime it lulled, and then after a couple of years, it picked up where everybody goes back to where they're from for Christmas, and so the roads have been significantly packed more than they normally were, and that we're finding folks on the road for 24, 36 hours. I beg you, if you can wait. An accident happens in a minute, guys. It's not
minutes, seconds.
Seconds. Yeah. We're not talking about 10 minutes, whatever. No. Seconds. You can wait 30 seconds. You can speak to the driver of the vehicle to slow down.
True.
You can hold on for an hour. You can. Because 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute will save a life.
It's the difference between life and death.
Absolutely. So I beg you, whether you're driven or whether you're driving, this period, let's save lives by just being cautious. We can do it. If there is nothing we will say today that you will listen to, please, if you are driven or you're driving this holiday season or any time for that matter, you can speak up.
True.
You can wait 10 seconds. Because 10 seconds, 15 seconds, they talk about it happening in a blink of an eye, and we don't even know what happened. Before you know, we're under a truck. You can wait. You don't need to overspeed. You can be behind that trailer for another 1 minute.
True.
You can.
If you're a driver, those trips are not important.
That thing of back-to-back, watching the end and don't reduce
rest.
Rest.
Please rest.
If you're in a vehicle, you find that your driver is dozing, stop the thing.
Yeah.
Sleep on the road, Sleep on the road and arrive the next day alive. You will arrive after Christmas. It is okay.
It is okay.
But you will arrive alive. Tafadhalini. Open your mouth, speak up. Do not allow the kind of loss of life that we saw.
Research shows that a lot of accidents on the road are avoidable.
Absolutely.
You know,
the
so
majority
just
percentage.
Just that information alone tells you a lot.
I beg you, please, this season, speak up. Speak up. Wait. A day if you must.
True.
Wait. You will go. We will still enjoy. It's part of it.
True.
But let's be careful and arrive alive. Tafadhali. Bear Deja says good morning from Paddington in London. And Bwangi Juma, we see you there. Shella says good morning from Mpole Keweng district in Botswana. How about that? Thank you for the update. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Chero says you guys complain a lot. Okay, that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. Thanks for tuning in, Chero. And Agri Momanyi says good morning, Waku Juma Tatu Njema.
Yeah.
Kabisa to
you
you.
too.
Good morning from Dandora. Keep up the great work, says DJ CJ Kenya. Kabisa, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Everybody, thank you for getting into the room this morning. Always good to have you here, even as we do. We will continue to point out the issues. We will have the conversations around these things. If it takes a little bit of complaining for somebody to sit up and take notice, then we're going to do it. And we're going to add dollops of it every morning. We'll do it, that's for sure. So, hang on tight, because more of that is going to come.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, my friend. All right, let's take a look into the headlines. We'll start in Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. Is it today's paper? It is. Questions abound, and there's the picture of the late Cyrus Jirongo. From the unsettling calm of the bus driver who explained a fatal crash as casually as the weather, to the early claims that Cyrus Jirongo drove straight into the nose of an oncoming bus, doubts are mounting over whether the former Lugari MP died in a simple accident. Friends say Jirongo had over time expressed fears for his safety. Now, they are demanding answers about what really happened on the road. In a country where high-profile deaths in road crashes often end in inconclusive investigations, they insist this case cannot be brushed aside as routine. George Kaniri is a former Vihiga senator. He said, and I quote, "I asked why he was still out having fun. Yet him, Kisia, and I had an important meeting the next day. He told me he had finished and was about to go home. There was no talk of him going to Naivasha." Philip Kisia, former Nairobi town clerk, says he was a man of the people, an international businessman. Lately, he had gotten into some very good business dealing in minerals from DRC and other countries. He was a threat to some people. And it continues. The mystery accident is said. How did Jirongo end up driving towards Nairobi from Nakuru, yet he had been in Nairobi till 11 p.m. Friday night and had no plans of leaving the city? Let's do that again. He was driving towards Nairobi from Nakuru, yet and this was early in the morning Saturday. But Friday night at 11 p.m., he was still in Nairobi and he had no plans of leaving the city. That's the question. Why would he have called his caretaker in Gigiri at 10 p.m. informing him that he would be home in a few minutes, yet he was away from the city? Ding ding. Why would a head-on collision have little damage to the body as seen in the scene by his friend George Khaniri? Why would a driver whose bus had crashed a fellow human being remain calm as he narrated details of the accident? Those are the questions that are being asked. We'll look into the details of this story. Well, on page 2 of the Standard, beyond the bleed, hemophilia patients fight invisible battles. There are many people who suffer from hemophilia, and it's quite something, this disease. This is... what is it, if I can remember correctly? It's the disease that where your blood does not clot.
Yes.
Right? So you could bump something, you'd hit your nose, you'd have a cut, it wouldn't heal. There are many people like that, so they have to be you can't take certain medications, so many things you can't do. But there's an issue here. Major Mwangi forged a distinctive voice reflecting Kenyans' realities. His work continues to inspire a new generation to read, to reflect, and to believe in the power of our own stories. Boss, we don't read.
Nope.
We don't read. If you guys promise me one thing, okay, fine. Is December too far? Okay, in January 20, read one book. Only one.
Yeah.
Just read one book. One book. Just read a book. I'm telling you, the knowledge that we don't have, and you can decide who it's going to be from.
Yeah.
The knowledge that we don't have oftentimes, you know what, is found in books. Read them. They help.
It has, been said,
yeah.
it has been said for a very long time, if you want to hide something from an African, just put it in books.
Yep. It's true. It's been said, and to an extent, they're right. You want to hide something from an African, put it in a book because you won't read it.
Yeah.
If you said don't want to read the books that the white Ayasawa, there are hundreds of thousands of books written by Africans. Read them.
Read them.
There are things that they're putting inside.
Yeah.
Culture, history, things about governance, things about trade, business, things about family, social life. Read it.
Heck, read your constitution, understand it.
Thank you. Even read your constitution.
So that is good.
Even that one alone.
That is yours. That is yours.
Just that. Read the book. I beg you. See, I've begged for many things today. First, I said, please be careful on the road.
Yeah.
Number 2, please read a book. I don't know what we'll be doing by 6, 7 o'clock. Kechese high achievers torn between arts, sports, and sciences. What is they're going to select? We saw the EE1s. Many of the EE1s we saw. What does that mean in terms of what they will select or what will be selected for them come when they go to school in January? So it was good results day on Thursday. Many people were very happy with what they got. This meant that they could either get the school of choice or at least they will be satisfied with the school that was chosen for them.
Haven't you just found a way of still celebrating schools?
We still no, even that thing of decategorizing schools and classless celebrations didn't happen because we still have the top student in the what people are still celebrating.
Unless you make it illegal,
it's still going to happen.
Declare it like that.
Children
gonna happen.
Children and their parents and their
so
children.
You want to celebrate our children? What do you mean?
It's tough. It's tough.
72. I got 72. What do you mean? I must celebrate.
Yeah, you got 90, and I got you got 100, and I got 90. We're in the same band, my friend.
And from a school, if I have 100 students and 90 got 72 points, what do you expect? I will not celebrate that.
You're going to celebrate. That's true.
Ajebana.
There's a story here on page 6 about how the 500 shilling note came to be known as the Jirongo. Of course, we know that story. It's interesting there. KCPE achievers reflect on new education shift, I beg your pardon. And the hidden sting. Why high praise of Raila by Ruto is a second betrayal? Allah. Some of the stories making their way into Kenya's bold newspaper this morning. We'll look at some of those details. You, sir?
Yeah, let's get to the Daily Nation. And it's been revealed what exactly identities of Kenyans in Russian war. Now, names of at least 82 Kenyans lured into fighting for Russia in the war with Ukraine. Some dead, others injured, and most desperate for help to flee the war zone can now be revealed. The distress is captured in official correspondence between the Kenyan embassy in Moscow and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We're talking about 82 Kenyans. Some are dead. Some are injured. Some are desperate to leave. Now, how Jirongo's NSSF scums collapsed post-bank credit. Now, 50 days after President Moi was sworn in for another term on January 4th, 1993, the powerful youthful KANU 92 chairperson, Cyrus Jirongo, walked into the National Social Security Fund NSSF headquarters to force through a deal. It was a Tuesday, February 23rd, 1993. We shall be going deeper into that, as well as hurdles in senior school admissions. Now, the placement of 1.1 million learners who completed junior school into senior school begins today, even as the government grapples with a severe teacher shortage that could disadvantage grade 10 students reporting to new schools next month. What have we been saying here about teacher shortage? Here we are. And as we talk about the need to be safe on the roads, and 8 relatives killed in Nyamira Horror Road accident. Members of the same family traveling to their uncle's burial died in an accident along the Kericho-Nyamira Road, raising concerns over rising highway deaths ahead of this festive season. Tena, tunaomba, please be careful on the roads.
Yeah.
We can't really insist more on the same. And Winnie, that is Winnie Odinga, ODM must go for top seat in 2027. Hii mambo ya tuko hapo mpaka after 2020. Ulisikia wapi? And you read that together with Raila Odinga's last statement at a hotel in Nairobi. We are ODM. Who told you not to have a candidate in 2027?
She's insisting that ODM has one, right?
Yeah, insists that ODM, and saying why ODM should field, and she's saying ODM will field presidential candidate in 2027. Interesting to see how that will go. And IEBC to use ID and passports data for voter listing targets. I think that's what's supposed to be done.
Yeah, I don't even know why it's news, but okay.
Yeah. You know, and CS Wahome rallies fuel speculation over 2027 return to elective politics. So she wants to get back to politics.
Oh, she's going to stop being a member of the cabinet?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So Lance Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome has in recent months sent mixed political signals, fueling speculation that she may be preparing a return to active electoral politics ahead of the 2027 general election. So that means she would resign, go into the campaign trail. She
would have to constitutionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cabinet to ratify 5 trillion shillings infrastructure fund. President says it will speed up delivery of the government's development projects.
Oh, I get it. I'm sorry. The infrastructure fund thing today is different. It's different from this investment fund thing for Safaricom shares and KPC. So those are totally different things.
Yes.
This infrastructure 5 trillion shilling fund is the one that's being launched today. Singapore high. So this other one for Safaricom actually has to go through public participation. So my bad. I'm sorry about that. So these are the two separate ones. I thought you were speaking of the other one. Right. Okay. So the 5 trillion one is what is being launched today.
Yes.
Sawa.
Wacha tuone itakuwa aje. Yeah, so you want to look at the stuff?
Okay. Hotel bookings up as bus firms increase fares. Business struggle amidst reduced incomes. That's what's looking up. So we're looking at, people are still trying to make merry during the holiday period.
Yeah.
Cyrus Jirongo, police experts table new theory. We'll look into what that theory could be because there's a lot of speculation in terms of what may have happened to him. So they're saying we're not just taking this as it were. So we'll look into that in just a bit. Ruto now takes 2027 battle to Rigathe's Mount Kenya doorstep. Says, okay, we're coming for you guys. So let's come and tell you what it is that we have in store. Ayako defends Migori record, dismisses Ochilo by narrative. It says he's not going anywhere. Okay, Chirako says Bado Nico. All right. Police experts table new theory in Jirongo accident. I want to look into that story in just a bit. But interest rate in bank stocks up after CBK lending rate cut. The festive period, and folks have actually, there are a lot of people who are, the hotel bookings that we're seeing filling up, interestingly enough, are folks who made bookings and started paying.
Yeah, lipa pole pole.
Yeah, months ago. So that's a good thing, I think. That folks can look forward to a holiday if you pay in little bits. Yeah?
Yeah.
And of course, Ruto in Mount Kenya, the president in Mount Kenya taking that there. MPs warn against rip-off in East Africa Portland cement deal. Okay. Surprise, surprise. No? Okay.
Nope.
And so those are some of the stories that we're looking at also on the front page of the Business Daily today. UK court orders tycoon to pay Sport Pesa owners 374 million shillings.
Yeah, he lost the case.
Yeah. So he's got to pay. That's a big one. Paul Ndungu fails to reinstate original 17% stake in legal fight. M-Pesa trail bus tax bribery at KRA. A web of M-Pesa transactions and incriminating text messages has exposed a brazen bribery ring at the Kenya Revenue Authority, a collection agency whose staff are cutting government revenue by engaging in corruption and colluding with tax evaders. Allah? The staff disguised the bribes through M-Pesa as soft loans and merry-go-round contributions, court documents reveal. So, on the documentation of the payment, that's what it looked like. Investigators in court documents presented a sample of suspicious M-Pesa payments totaling 894,863 shillings from employees at the Attorney General's Business Registration Services to former KRA tax officer, Mr. NMK's phone number between August 2018 and May 2019. So, the story goes on to give the details, but here we're looking at is that it seems like, according to this story in the Business Daily, some of the boys and girls in this authority have not been behaving properly.
Kabisa.
Okay. So do you want to tell us what's going on with this Cyrus Jirongo story, or shall I?
You go.
Okay.
You go. Yeah.
It's covered in many of in all the dailies we're seeing today. But friends and family are raising questions over the death of Cyrus Jirongo. There's a picture there of former town clerk Philip Kisia. An accident forensic audit reports commissioned by the friends of prominent businessman and politician Cyrus Jirongo has poked holes into the official police version. Jirongo died in a tragic road accident on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway on Saturday morning. The accident report from the police indicated that Jirongo's Mercedes-Benz E350 was involved in a head-on collision with a bus near the Gilgil Junction. Witnesses at the scene described the accident as a grisly impact, with the German luxury saloon car suffering catastrophic front-end damage. Jirongo was pronounced dead at the scene, marking a shocking end for the once powerful figure in Kenyan politics. The police report, filed by officers from the Gilgil station, consistently used the term head-on collision, shaping the early narrative of a high-speed opposing direction crash. The bus driver, Tyrus Kamau, was briefly detained but released as investigations described as routine commenced. Kamau calmly explained that he thought it was wise to sacrifice the father of 38 children, Ateke, as the official count this year, rather than swerve the bus, which would have killed 67 people. I want to read that again.
Please.
Kamau calmly explained that he thought it wise to sacrifice the father of 38 children as the official count this year, rather than swerve the bus, which would have killed 67 people. Okay, so he said, kill this crash here than crash here.
I had that clip.
You heard him, yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he was actually very calm, and he didn't have a scratch on him, interestingly enough. But the different and technically detailed account prepared by crash investigation experts who analyzed an expanded set of scene and vehicle photographs paints a picture of a complex, multi-impact event that directly challenges the official head-on narrative. Vihiga Senator George Njeri, Jirongo's best friend and one of the last to speak to him, says there is more than meets the eye and everything will unravel after a forensic audit on Jirongo's phone, car and autopsy. I met him at 7 p.m. in Karen Oasis. 7 a.m. in Karen Oasis. He was seated with National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula and Redmond Malala. They were having a good time. I went in, finished my business and then left the place, says Njeri. He said he called Jirongo at 10:58 p.m. on Friday and jokingly asked why he was still in the entertainment spot, yet they had a meeting the next day. So I think that was 7 p.m. I asked why he was still out having fun, yet Philip Kisia and I had an important meeting the next day with him. He told me that he had finished and was about to go home. There was no talk of him going to Naivasha. This is what Njeri said, whose phone record showed the call ended at 11:03. Kisa is a former Nairobi town clerk and city politician. When he heard the news of the crash, Njeri said he called Malala and confirmed that indeed he had called Jirongo the previous night. Jirongo actually left the venue a few minutes after the phone call, heading to his home in Gigiri. He says he received a call at 3:23 a.m. from Jirongo's wife, who asked him to urgently drive to Naivasha as his friend had been involved in a car accident. I'll stop there. If they had a conversation at 10:30, a few minutes after 10:30, and there was no talk of I am in Naivasha or I am in Nakuru heading back to Nairobi, the question is, he said, why are you still out we're supposed to meet early tomorrow morning, you should have gone by now. There was no conversation about I'm on the road driving, that didn't come up. And if you were at this spot in Karen, how did you then make it
to Naivasha,
to Nakuru, and now on your way back to Nairobi in that short period of time? These are the questions that are being asked already. The investigation will reveal. Bodies don't lie. That's why it's called a forensic audit. All of this will be looked into, the reasons as to what killed him, where his phone, because they will ping his phone over hours, and all of this will come. I mean, come on. Technology allows police to do that, and they're actually very, very good at their job.
True.
So let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. I mean, this is one of those stories that you just let investigations give us a conclusive end to it, because as you said, the body does not lie. Then again, his phone, when he was being called, where was he? You know, so even if his vehicle had GPS, if that can also be tracked, it would tell us exactly.
It will
tell us the story. I mean, the petrol station allegedly where he fueled, they would tell us if indeed it was him who was fueling. You know, so there's a lot that will tell. The vehicles, the roads that we have cameras. I mean, buildings have CCTV cameras. If you can pick up from that as well, so there is a lot that you expect from investigators. So it's just a question of waiting to get the answers to this. So yeah,
and you know, that some of these things, that questions are being asked, and you have to just ask one question, and the possibility of an alternate reality then becomes, you know, quite glaring.
Yeah.
And then you have to ask, oh my God, is it possible? So it takes give or take 3 hours to get to Nakuru, from Nairobi. If you left at 10:30, and let's say you put your last drink down and you left at 10:30, that would put you in Nakuru at 1:30.
1:30, almost 2, yeah.
Right?
Assuming the roads are clear, because remember, it's also the festive season where a lot of people are traveling. So that means your journey there would be a little bit longer because of many vehicles on the road. So that is also to be factored in. So assuming you're getting to
Nakuru 2 a.m.
2 a.m., 2:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so essentially, in order to have a crash on the road at the time that we're being told that happened, you'd have to be on the way back at the same time as you were on the way there.
On the way there.
Yeah, you would have to be on the way back at the same time as you were, because it was very clear that he was heading to Nairobi. Yeah, so they kind of made their questions here, aren't they?
Yeah, the questions, yeah.
But the science will answer the questions if it's allowed to live out the thing. Yeah, okay.
So
may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace.
Above all.
May he rest in peace. Yeah, it's sad to lose a beloved one. So it is to the family, poleni sana. Now, Winnie Odinga, ODM will field presidential candidate, right? Her comments come amid heightened tensions within ODM over UDA partnership deals. Now, Winnie Odinga, daughter of the late opposition leader Raila Odinga, has reignited debate over the Orange Democratic Movement's future, stating that the party intends to field a presidential candidate in the 2027 general election. Her comments come amid uncertainty over ODM's political cooperation pact with President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance. Though not an official party spokesperson, Ms. Odinga is a prominent ODM figure in her own right and has considerable influence within party circles. Speaking to reporters over the weekend, she said the primary objective of any political party is to seek power while advancing democratic ideals. The purpose of any political party is to capture power, and I believe ODM must field a candidate everywhere, she said when asked about the party's plans for the presidential race. Now, Ms. Odinga made the remarks at Pioneer Girls School, a private institution owned by businessman Peter Mungai, during a forum that brought together education stakeholders to discuss career pathways. Now, her statements follow the broad-based cooperation agreement between ODM and UDA, forged after Raila Odinga's decision to work with President Ruto following the 2023 anti-government protest. Now, the pact saw ODM figures take up positions in government and parliamentary leadership. However, it has also sparked unease within the party, with critics arguing that the alliance has blurred ODM's opposition identity.
Okay.
Quick one.
Yeah.
The individuals who got to the broad-based arrangement, those from ODM who got to got cabinet positions, I think, didn't they get there before the signing of the broad-based agreement?
Were they selected in terms of...
because remember, at some point, Raila Odinga said the individuals who are going, they've gone there on their own personal
Yes. It had nothing to do with...
Had nothing to do with broad-based, right?
Yeah.
So these individuals were not seconded, one would say, but after the broad-based arrangement, it was before.
I'm sure somebody had a conversation in somebody's living room about, well, you can have this guy, or you
they just didn't say it.
They just didn't say it publicly. Oh, come on. I think,
but I think it's now with the Winnie saying what she's saying now begs the question: what then would the officials of the party say? So the Secretary General of the party, the leadership of ODM party, what are they saying with this? And does Winnie hold any influence in the party, one would ask.
Well, whether she holds influence in the party, she's a member of a party, yes. But she's saying something.
Yeah.
And she's not just speaking for herself. And I think that because of the political gravitas that she does have, that folks are bound to listen to what it is that she's saying.
Yeah.
But in the 3-4 times that she's spoken publicly since the death of her father, she has had the same message.
Yes.
There's something she is saying. And the likelihood of that to be listened to or people resonating with some people or causing some friction amongst others then is growing, because every opportunity she gets to be behind a microphone, that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
This thing that she has said recently is against what everybody else has said. We're in government until whenever Baba put us in government, we're going to stay here. What is she saying very clearly here?
Yeah.
No, ODM must field a presidential candidate,
because our goal is to be in power and to take power. So this will be interesting to see how others will now react to this, because then again we know the name Odinga comes with weight.
But you think she doesn't know that her uncle is the party leader? You think she doesn't know? She's very aware, but still saying certain things.
Remember what you said? People had conversations in living rooms.
Yeah.
Uncle
Can't run away.
and niece had a conversation.
Can't run away from some things. And you can't also put it as very far that, you know what, I'm aware that you're going to say this in public, and I give you my blessing, go ahead and say it while I sit in the corner and I watch you.
Yeah.
That's okay. You go ahead and say it, because you could be speaking on my behalf.
Enda koroga maji.
Political intrigues, and that's how we see them. Conversations continue. Good morning, folks. 7 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news wire. I'm Leah Ubanga. 10 people have died in a road accident at Chabera on the Sundu Oyugis Road in Homa Bay County. Rachonyo East Police Commander Laban Omol says 6 others were seriously injured after the Nissan they were traveling in collided head-on with a truck. According to Omol, the truck driver disappeared after the accident. The 6 survivors are receiving treatment at the Rachonyo South Sub-County Hospital in Oyugis, while the bodies of the deceased are being preserved at the same facility. Omol has advised motorists to adhere to traffic rules to avoid more road accidents this holiday season. The accident comes just a day after 8 other people died in Ekerenyo, Nyamira County. The accident occurred on the Ekerenyo-Ikonge Highway when a passenger vehicle carrying 16 people collided head-on with a cargo trailer. President William Ruto is scheduled to chair a cabinet meeting today aimed at formulating a national infrastructure fund. Speaking in Kiambu County yesterday, the president stressed that the fund aims to implement his plan to transform the nation to meet the standards of developed nations. According to the president, 5 trillion Kenya shillings for development projects will be raised through the fund to achieve its goal.
Mulisikia mimi nikitangaza juzi, kesho Jumatatu tuko na baraza la mawaziri na itafanya kazi mbili ya muhimu. Kesho ndio tunaanza rasmi ile safari niliwaambia ya kubadilisha hii Kenya itoke third world iende first world, inaanza kesho. Kesho tunapitisha hazina maalum ya National Infrastructure Fund ambaye tutatumia kuokota pesa shilingi trilioni 5 ya kubadilisha hii nchi. And we are not joking, my friends. Hii nchi hii lazima ibadilike by all means possible. Ni mnanielewa? Tumechelewa kubadilisha Kenya. Tumechelewa kufukuza umaskini. Tumechelewa kufukuza njaa.
President Ruto has also attacked his opponents who he claims failed to serve Kenyans while holding leadership positions, adding that instead of setting strategies to serve Kenyans, they are promoting outdated politics.
Hii nchi inaweza kubadilika kama watu wa Singapore walibadilisha kwao, wa Korea walibadilisha kwao, wa Malaysia walibadilisha kwao, sisi tutabadilisha kwetu. Ama mnasemaje jameni? Ama mnataka tu tuendelee kuongea siasa ya ukabila na chuki na mambo ya kupotezana wakati? Sisi tubadilishe Kenya. Na Kenya haiwezi kubadilishwa kwa maneno matupu. Kenya inabadilishwa kwa miradi na mipango ya maendeleo. na hivyo ndio tunataka tuendelee, ama namna gani? Na hiyo kazi yote mimi ninafanya sio kwa sababu mimi natafuta kura. Mimi nimepita kiwango ya kutafuta kura. Mimi nataka kubadilisha Kenya. That is my mission. Mimi mnanielewa? Yes, kwa sababu kama ni kura, si mnilipigia 2022.
And meanwhile, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka has mocked President William Ruto's plan to make Kenya equal to the most developed nations in the world. Speaking in Nairobi, Kalonzo questioned how the economic reforms proposed by President Ruto will be funded in line with the Constitution. According to Kalonzo, any funding that is not included in the national budget violates the established legal processes.
The worst crime, I'm sorry to say, which is contrary to the Constitution itself, is to say that you're going to now look for money which are not accounted for under the budget. The budgetary process is a constitutional process.
Kalonzo has also opposed the Churches Control Bill 2024, saying it is an attempt by the government to interfere with the constitutionality guaranteed to freedom of worship.
DRC and Rwanda, but very easy for Uganda to be enjoined. Burundi is already enjoined. Tanzania by extension. Kenya, of course, by extension, because President William Ruto allowed the M23 group to come and get established here in Nairobi when they formed the River Congo Initiative. The River Congo, they call it initiative, but it is really an attempt to topple President Felix Tshisekedi of the DRC. So we are already engulfed.
That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who were initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting, people went there, sat, listened, looked at him, there was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Yeah. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself. But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find a tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around.
Yeah,
why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 7:07 and getting into conversations this morning. And even as we do, we still are able to get something with 19 and 45.
Yes, Airtel Unlimited Fun Data Bundles is here to assure you that regardless of what it is you're doing, you're able to enjoy life and the quality of it because you have data bundles that will assure you that. So imagine you're streaming, right? We're just from Jamhuri Day and you wanted to follow that on your television because who still has an aerial in their roots, you know? So you have data, and this will assure you that even when the jets are flying low, you're able to follow that through. And we have individuals dancing, you know, and the national ballads that makes Kenya be Kenya, you're able to follow that through. But imagine a situation where you miss all that simply because your data bundle is limited. So Airtel is telling you at 19 shillings you get 1 hour of unlimited data bundles and 45 shillings 3 hours for unlimited data bundles. How do you get this? Star 544 hash or go to your My Airtel app and you can download it on App Store or on Play Store. Or if you are not yet converted and you want to get these data bundles, you can as well just walk to your nearest Airtel shop, purchase this data and be part of the conversations and maintaining quality of life. Airtel is asking you to be part of this conversation. The next hour, I'm going to be telling you how you will be winning 3,000 shillings courtesy of Airtel.
All right, fantastic. And how about I tell you how now is the time to get paid for spending? Everybody's going to be spending a bit of an extra shilling this month or around this time. Well, the KCB Bank Kenya is launching a massive nationwide card called the Winning Card, and it's your chance to turn everyday purchases into epic prizes. So KCB is making their cards the convenient, secure, and rewarding payment option for everything you do. So every time you use your KCB debit, credit, or prepaid card, you are automatically in the running. So you're going to spend money, somebody's going to give you money because you did. Now, you could win 10,000 shillings every week, or you could snag 100,000 shillings monthly. And guess what the grand prize is? A luxury did you know that there's something called a wellcation? It's an experience for two to Zanzibar. Wellcation. Spend money, be sent on a wellcation in Zanzibar, right?
I need that, man.
You do?
I do.
Sindio, Zanzibar is calling Mr. Aseto. Use your KCB card now for shopping, fueling, or online purchases and make your card the winning card. And you want to do that with KCB and you want to do it now. So we're going to get on that. We're going to give you more details about how you can. And our folks on social media will be talking to you about then how we can be sure that you're getting that 10,000 in the bag or you're getting that 100,000 shillings per month. So let's get into that this Christmas. And while you're doing some of that spending, you want to spend your money, you want to experience Christmas at Sarit Center. How do you do that? You make sure that you get on down to Sarit Center, you do that, and you enjoy the great decorations. You enjoy appearances by Mr. and Mrs. Santa, Rudolph, and the Grinch. They're great choral performances. So listening to Christmas carols over the weekend, great stuff. Spin the wheel and get instant prizes. Earn points as you shop with the Sarit Loyalty app. And Wednesday and Thursday, you can do your shopping at the Masai Market and get all sorts of unique African gifts. Experience festive cheer and magical moments all season long, only at Sarit. That's what we're doing. Let's get into it. We'll give you more details of these and others as we go along. This morning, we're having a conversation around at what cost? Health funding versus data privacy. Joining us in the Situation Room this morning to have this conversation so that we can get a full understanding of this and really be plugged into the discourse. Beatrice Cairo is a health economist and public policy expert. She joins us in the Situation Room again this morning. Good morning, Beatrice.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Victor Ndede also is here with us, a tech and human rights expert, also in the room with us. Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you, Ndu.
How are you doing?
Very well. Pleasure to be back.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
We're having this conversation. It's a tight one because everybody's asking questions. Those who have the information, maybe giving it in, we like to say like drops, but we need the full hog, right?
1 times 2.
Right. 1 times 2, exactly. We need the full hog to really understand what's going on here and what it could actually mean, if it does mean anything beyond what we're being told. So we'll get into that in a minute. Dennis wants to share today's proverb. We'd love to get your interpretation.
Yes, so our proverb today is from the continent, not any specific country, but it is thematic, right? So it's talking about fairness. And this is what it says. They that dig the well should not be refused water. They that dig the well should not be refused water. Ladies, go first. How would you interpret that?
Anybody who has participated in achieving something should also be a partaker of the benefits of that achievement. So if in the current state, like the Kenya-US deal, the Kenyan citizen health data is what was being traded in that agreement. Let's be honest. So the Kenyan citizen should also partake in the benefits that data is going to create for the US government, because Trump said America first. Now we are also saying Kenya first, and the Kenyan citizens first.
Victor, how would you interpret?
Yeah, I think she's put it quite well. I think those who participate in the making of something should be the first beneficiaries. At times they say those who toil must those who sow must reap the benefit. I don't know if I'm using another proverb, but essentially, yeah, let people benefit where they have put in their blood, sweat, and tears.
I agree. It's true.
US-Kenya deal.
Yeah.
Kenya first.
Of course, we're going to make parallels to that because it's very clear that we can draw from that to apply the proverb to.
Yeah.
So this is interesting, Beatrice and Victor. But as we have this conversation, we Kenyans were made aware by people who there were privy to the information before the government announced that this thing would happen, before any kind of official documentation.
Yeah.
We started to hear the chatter of it. What are you talking about? It became clear after some time that it was not just America giving money. America rarely does that.
True.
I don't think they've ever done it. Just give another nation money without there being something in return. They did not dig the well and expect to not have to be partakers of the thing.
Yeah.
In this case. So then in this one also, it's clear that there's something that the United States would be benefiting.
Yeah.
And I just want to give you a back end a little bit.
Okay.
That we did have the PS here with us to discuss this a little bit, Dr. Umar Luga, and he said to us very clearly that what is being shared here is no data about Kenyans, your blood type, your height, your weight, your history in terms of, disease burden or anything like that. What's being shared here is that these people exist in a database, not what the details of their existence is that the presence, essentially, what is being shared is what Kenya is going to do with the money that is being given. You're shaking your head. No?
It's called the aggregate data.
That's what he said. That. So there's no cause for concern or alarm. Yeah. It's okay.
But someone will analyze that aggregate data because it's a population health data. And remember, this data has always been collected by NGOs, only that the Kenyan citizens were not aware of it because these were deals signed by NGOs behind the scenes. But this time round, because of awareness, spread of information, now the citizens realize, so actually our data gets to be shared. Now, as much as Trump now says he doesn't want to go through NGOs and wants to go to government deals, I would apply what we call the Hegel philosophy. Hegel philosophy is thesis, antithesis. So you create chaos, then you can bring a solution. So Trump halts the funds for USAID and then brings a lot of chaos. People become very desperate, especially African governments, then comes back with American First Global Health Strategy as a solution. But in this process, you remember Trump is a businessman, so it has to be transactional. So remember, now we are at the age of AI. We are at the age of vaccine manufacturing. We are at the age of data drug development. We are at the age of research and design. Remember, the West or the global North always puts itself at the top of the chain. They should be the one to be the thinkers. They should be the ones to come up with the technology, not you Africans. Your work as Africans is to give us raw materials. And right now, data is the new oil. Yeah, it is the new oil. Now, Kenya, I know there is Ikolomani, they have said there is gold, but so far we have known for a very long time that the Kenyan population is where the economic value for any government, especially Kenyan government, the value for that nation, it is in the people. It is our labor force. It is the number of us as people. So we as a people, we are also now providing data where now is the new oil for these tech companies, for the big farmers, for the research and design, for the they're called technical experts, or what are they called? Consultant firms, the McKinsey and whatever. So we are going towards another angle whereby now when you go into these developed countries, they're now focusing on AI, and they need a lot of data to feed into their AI models. So where would they get it cheaply? It's in Africa. Remember, as much as there is a lot of racial segregation since the time of colonial times, when you look at the setup of the healthcare system, it had a lot of segregation. Remember, during the colonial times, government funding used to favor Europeans, and then you come to the Africans who had to co-pay. Yeah, they had to contribute something for them to access healthcare.
Yeah.
And the aim of them accessing healthcare was to protect the labor force. So when now we got our independence, they didn't change anything. We just got new supervisors who had a similar skin color like us. But the colonial logic is still there. So when we had USAID, they focused on service delivery. Now the G2G model, and unfortunately the PS and the CS have a lot of intellectual dishonesty towards us as Kenyans. The G2G model now is focusing on system, but the ultimate, it's that data. They don't care whether you get well. The US don't care whether you are healthy. To them, that is not their concern. Their concern, can they get your information to actually create their machines, create their drugs that they can come and load over you, and you buy using your own money. So it's very extractive. So that's how the whole concept looks like. But they did not want to say that way because they would look as if they are weak.
Yeah.
Remember, government can never show you they are weak. But when you read the whole agreement, Kenya was on the weaker side.
I mean, there is the aspect that you bring, but then, Victor, when you look into the technical aspect of this data sharing deal, right? So there are words that are being thrown around. It is aggregate, So it is a question of 20 individuals went to this specific hospital and they were diagnosed with this disease. But what is not being shared is it is Victor, it is Dennis, it is Ndu. But that notwithstanding, so there is another word that has she has raised, right? So it is population health data. That at the end of the day, someone will have to dig and mine that information and use it in one way or the other, because no one just gets data because it's pretty. No one gets data just so it is a report for me to have. That data can be mined, can be used, and will inform decisions later. So is this a way of big pharma getting to get into this conversation low key? Or why exactly are we sharing our data?
Thanks for that, Aseto. First of all, the thing that needs to be debunked, in my view, is aggregate data comes from personal identifiable information. That's where it starts. So you cannot aggregate non-personal data in the context of what this data sharing agreement links to the cooperation framework is talking about. So where it all starts is personal identifiable information that is recorded at the health facilities. What is also not quite clear is who aggregates this data. Is it Kenya aggregates and sends? And even then, what are they? What is the makeup of this aggregated data that will be shared? Because you see, aggregated data is an ambiguous term. You have to, at least at the data sharing agreement level, you have to say exactly this is what we are going to share in aggregate data. But you see, aggregated data still is not a foolproof mechanism. If you have the right tools and technical know-how, you can de-aggregate that data. You can actually walk it backwards to personal identifiable information.
Reverse engineering.
Yes, you can go back on that. But now you see, if you look at the nature of the deal and the nature of how I understood the data sharing agreement, and given how much it was probably left ambiguous in terms of what aggregate data you're sharing, then the question that came to my mind was, if we don't determine at the start what we are aggregating to share, then the demand will be for all the data that is relevant in that cooperation framework. So that is the first red flag, and I think that's where a lot of people's worries are, because, ideally the argument would have been, the Data Protection Act only protects personal data. And so they would have argued, and the aggregated data is not under the Data Protection Act. But it is built off of personal data. So the Data Protection Act has to apply. And if you look at even the petition that is before the courts by COFEC, one of the questions they raise there is on the question on the data protection impact assessment of this project prior to its rollout. Because you see, the Data Protection Act 2019 provides for something we call a DPI, or the Data Protection Impact Assessment. And it says whenever you're processing data that is likely to, it's high-risk data, it's likely to result in profiling of individuals, then you have to conduct a Data Protection Impact Assessment, through which you'll be able to establish the risks that come with this data processing, and you identify also the mitigation steps. But you see, right now we are flying blind. We don't know what data, what risks will be there and being shared with another country. On the last part to your question, Aseto, data is a strategic national asset, especially health data. The US itself has designated countries of concern where they should not receive this kind of data. The Russias, North Koreas of this world. If we take cue from what they have done, we should also be considering that we are wheeling away our strategic national asset. And then the question that comes after you make that realization is, why must it be done? Should it be done? And do we really understand the consequence of this? And I think we were just sharing outside the room before we came in, and what I was saying is, you're transferring data, say, for 7 years. You have no guarantee and no power to follow through that the data deletion happens at the lapse of this agreement. So
you can't ensure it.
You can't ensure. And it's a very costly exercise, if you ask me. I remember when 1 year ago we had the decision on WorldCoin, and we got an order that the Data Protection Office should supervise deletion of Kenyans' data on from those systems. But if you look at the cost of just following through that thing, it's very costly. And who has power in this conversation is also the other question.
Okay, so wow. So Beatrice, maybe let's look at. Usually for us to understand, we would imagine that it's two countries having a conversation about certain things. We also know, like you said, that Kenya and many other African countries have been put in a desperate position because of truly our inability or actually our non-desire to actually have funds in place that would take care of our sick. And so when the United States, which is right within their purview to do whatever they want with the taxpayers' money, they've decided that we're going to peel back a little bit on this funding. They have the right to do so. So it threw all of us into a tailspin, and we said, what are we going to do? Right? So this is the proverbial carrot. The funds that are being dangled here, because they are, is how you will take care of those who are on lifelong ARVs, is how you will take care of people who need blood transfusions, because we know PEPFAR was handling that. So this is like selling your birthright, like Victor said, your data, the very soul of the nation, for 300 billion shillings, because that's the kind of money that we're looking at. You're selling it away, and you don't know what they're going to do with it. What would nations, give us examples of what nations would do with this data, that this 300 billion shillings for them is nothing? What would nations do with this? What have nations done? And what plans would they have for this kind of data that would allow you to go into an agreement like this?
So when you look at the countries like the UK, Germany, for you to access their data, there is a licensing fee. So you see, you're able to generate revenue from that. So like if we were able to store our data, we're able to analyze our data. Anybody want to access it, you charge them. So in essence, it raises revenue for you as a country, right? And when that revenue can be used to fill in the physical space gap. Now, the same data you're going to correct, what does it do? It will allow local, biotech companies, local digital health companies to actually use data and create revenue from it, or create technologies from it. And in the process, what does it do? It will enable you generate revenue to actually make money to actually set aside for healthcare. You see, as much as people want to justify this urgency of signing this deal because there's a physical, there's a deficit somewhere. But you see, at the end of the day, you are undervaluing your strategic assets. And in that, and when we look at history, it shows that countries will often make the most expensive policy mistake during physical distress. They'll always make that mistake.
Yeah.
So what we would have done, and remember, when you look at that agreement, look at the diseases that the American were asking data from, or what they were funding.
Yeah.
It's not what is currently affecting us. The NCDs, the cancer, they're not funding you to treat your cancers, to treat your diabetes, which are actually on the very rise. Look at where they are focusing their energies on. So in essence, it is not your disease priority as a country right now.
What were they focusing on, if you don't mind, Beatrice?
They're focusing on HIV, malaria, TB, maternal and child health, and to some extent, health system strengthening. But it's usually at the bottom. The health system strengthening is usually at the bottom. So right now, you have seen in the news, cancer, diabetes, the non-communicable diseases are quite on the rise in comparison to these conditions. But that agreement did not cater for any of that.
I get it.
You get it. Yeah. So with that, we are now telling African countries, collect your own data, store it, analyze it, charge for it. Let African researchers have access to it. From it, they're able to develop, to produce knowledge from it, produce innovations from it. With innovations, what happens? Look at China. Yeah, you cannot access China data aimlessly. They have also protected it, but they have been using that healthcare data to do what? Develop better healthcare machines for their own people. And then when they have surplus, what do? Sell it to other countries. Isn't that revenue that also caters for their people? But for us, we're just giving it away, and it's an economic asset. We're just giving it away freely without even charging any coin to it. And whatever we are getting, remember, these industries in the US or in the global north, they're multi-dollar industries. Big pharma is a multi-billion dollar actually. When you look at research and design, research and development in the US, in the UK, it is a multi-billion dollar industry. So imagine a multi-billion dollar industry, and what they give you is $1.6 billion for 5 years. And to make matters worse, you give in return 7 years data. Like 1 + 1 is not even becoming.
It's not equal to 7. Victor, do we know? I think. Did we know what you're getting? What we're getting into? What Kenya was getting into? I think this is one of the problems when we talk about bilateral relations between countries, that the folks that you send to have these conversations, it's very important who you send, because are they reading the fine print? I don't know if people said, you know what, it's okay, give us a couple of weeks, we're going to look through this thing properly before we sign. It appeared as though it was a trip to Washington and at the end of the day somebody sat after dinner and signed this thing and then read it later.
I think the negotiations took a while, as far as I have been made to understand. It didn't come in a very short space of time, which of course is even the more concerning.
That's a bit more worrying. I would have hoped you would have said actually it took a few days.
The nature and scale.
93 advisors, 93. The PS said he had 93 advisors.
The nature and scale of this agreement would have required a bit more consultation, in my view. And first of all, just understanding that the nature of what you're getting into demands that you involve all the stakeholders. You see, as government, you may have your blind side when you look at such a deal. You may think about it as government, you're fixing a fiscal pressure that you have. But if you don't consult other sector practitioners who may be able to pick out your blind spots and say, actually, you have not thought about this thing clearly. And you see that lack of information that even clouded the agreement, and it was a secret document up until last week, I think, was it? I can't remember when. But people are pushing for, put the agreement on the table, let us read. But you see, even then, we are pushing for it post-signing, where very little can be done to change the agreement. And now you see the only option guys had to do is to go to court. I'm sure it's not in the interest of everyone to say, for example, frustrate a project through the judicial process. It's something that would have been mitigated if they just called in people and said, okay, look, this is the strategic direction you're taking with healthcare financing in Kenya. What do you guys think? And bring in everyone there. But there's a question you asked, though, that I really want people to understand why data is important. You see, there's a huge chance that the data in its aggregated, de-identified form can be used for population profiling. You can actually understand population vulnerabilities, disease burdens, genetic predispositions, and even the operational readiness of a population. And that in itself makes this thing very important for basically health surveillance, but also national defense. Because someone understands the makeup of the Kenyan people. If you look at what exactly they're doing in that data sharing agreement, this is data they would have access to. And in understanding just that alone, you have to have fears. And then now there's the, as Beatrice put it, the big pharma question. You know? And in many agreements, if we must share this data, let's put Kenyans in a position where they would benefit either financially or have health benefits. If someone uses this aggregated data to, say, develop a vaccine, let's put it simple, we should either be first in line to get that vaccine or have it at very preferential rates. If not, pay us for the data that you used to create this vaccine. It's plain simple. But in the current reading of that framework, it doesn't look like this is possible. And you see, it just perpetuates that what we call the extractive research model. It's that neo-colonial way where we are data suppliers, they're data users, they have power, we don't have power, and so we'll just supply that industrial complex in the same way we did with the raw materials.
I mean, Victor, before we even proceed, because remember we posed that question in terms, because it is called data sharing. And let's use the word sharing. Right? So in the data sharing framework now, the CS said that Kenya would equally receive data from the US. And one asks the question, what kind of data are we getting from the US? Because remember, when the US is here to fund our healthcare system, right? They are the ones who want the data for their own reports to see that the taxpayers' money from the United States has gone to do something. By the time we're being told that we are also receiving data from the US, one would ask the question, so that we do what with it? You know, and asks the question, is there sincerity in this data sharing agreement? We've talked about racial segregation, but one would also argue there is also medical segregation. One would not need to look back. You remember COVID and what happened. When we needed the vaccination, Africa was the last in line, you know. Everyone caged themselves in and needed to take care of their own. And as we look at, even when we're sharing our data and we look at the disease burden that Africa is facing, one would say that that data would be used to generate certain medication that is specifically for Africans, for Kenyans. But we would have to beg because someone has us at a chokehold, because they have data that you said has given out genetic makeup. You know, people know what it is we need, but we do not have. So is there sincerity when you talk about data sharing?
I mean, and I mean, data sharing there was used very generously, because I wouldn't say there's that much of data sharing as far as the agreement goes. If you read the data sharing agreement, it's actually Kenya sharing, sending. You can put a lot of many strokes there and say stroke this, stroke that. Ideally, and that's what I'm saying. If you look at the model, it's the typical, what would appear to be the very extractive neo-colonial model around data. And you see, nobody is saying that it can't be done. People are saying even if you must do, and probably in the understanding that, you know, you need healthcare financing and you have this budget deficit, which you're sort of saying we have no other way of solving it other than going for aid, then there must be guardrails to ensure that this is done in the proper manner. In the current agreement, it has not been done. And you see, the other question that has really come up in the last couple of weeks, especially post this agreement came to our knowledge, is the big question around data sovereignty.
Yeah.
Who has control? Who has ownership?
Yeah.
Who can access this data? You know, and can we as a people say we own our data? Data that we have shared externally, data that will not be stored even here. And I know the argument has also been made, you know, NGOs used to do this, and what we're saying is fine, they used to, and I mean, nobody is in disagreement that actually we can go after those NGOs and say, okay, fine, what were you guys also doing? What we're saying is, your agreement has come at a time when people are actually more conscious of what's going on.
Yeah.
People have come, the agreement has come in the context of an America First policy. So everyone is a bit cautious. What would be in it for Kenya in an America First health policy, global health policy? And so when you think about it in that context, you really have to think about what is in it for them, because someone does not give you $1.6 billion just for giving
just because
you're
like
nice.
You.
Or you guys are nice. There has to be something in it for them that potentially furthers the America First policy. And so and the thing I've encouraged even my colleagues when they're looking at this agreement is, in the understanding that it is America First, read it from an America First lens.
Absolutely.
Then you'll start understanding what exactly is going on here.
And especially since we're talking about the United States, it's entrenched in the modus operandi that America will not touch anything for which it doesn't bear an interest to them.
Yes.
That it's, I mean, for all they cared, you know, we have documents of Melinda Gates saying that Africans would drop off the face of the earth because of COVID. So, you know, they don't care. Drop off the face of the earth. But if there's something that is not benefiting them, they're not giving you $1.6 billion.
Yeah.
They're not having a conversation with you. They're not sending troops. They're not doing anything like that. And as, you know, as expressive as this is, these are the real conversations.
Yeah.
That if we look at the extractive nature that these bilateral conversations are made of, it was extraction of slaves in the 1800s to the 1900s. Today, it's still the extraction of slaves, but it's the extraction of everything about them that we're looking at today. Can we say that if we don't look at it in that manner, then things like sovereignty of nations, things like protectionism when it comes to the very makeup of who you are, if we don't look at it like that, those things will be, they're not even sliding under the carpet. They're in broad daylight, they're being taken. Just the way men were put on ships in the 1800s is the same way your data is being put on an email and it is being sent to someone. It's the same thing. So can we be more careful about those things? And can we now link the problem to our inability to manage ourselves properly that puts us in a position whereby we have to do the proverbial Cain and Abel, where he needed a meal and there was the birthright and it was swapped? Can we not be much more careful about these things? If we didn't, and this is about, can we connect this conversation to good governance? Because, Beatrice, if we had managed our resources properly, if we didn't give way to corruption, if we made sure that money for health went to health, we wouldn't be in a situation where today the whole country is having a conversation about should we share our data or not because of 300 billion shillings.
Yeah, look at our priorities. We are overfunding State House, where to a point they're almost spending 25 million in a day. They are renovating State House. Who said we would need to renovate State House? Yet there are people who can't access ARV drugs. You get? We have missed, our priorities are upside down. So in that aspect, you wonder why then do we go with a begging bowl, and on this other end there's a lot of wastage of resources. Look at how much 500 million Kenyan shillings was poured in one constituency during a by-election. 500 million. You can imagine how much that 500 million would have done were it put in these programs that they were going to beg to be given money by the American government. Remember, USAID was spending around $500 million to $700 million per year. So that cumulatively in like 5 years, it's coming to around 3.5 million dollars. And you look at this agreement now, it's like it has downsized a little, because you get 1.6, and you as a country, you have to provide 850 million and dollars. But from where, if at all, our budget is way less than 15%, the healthcare budget is way less than 15%, it's around 4.5%. So you've already, we cannot fund our healthcare system because of missed priorities. How will they get even that 150?
There you go.
So already looking at it holistically, even this government did not have the Kenyan citizens in their mind. They just wanted to sign a deal and claim we have gotten a $1.6 billion money from somewhere. But be as it may, they did not look at the hidden costs. I don't know. When I went through it, I wondered, who are these people? Like,
that's why I asked, like, Victor has yet to tell us who these folks are.
All these 93 advisors. You know, the PS claimed he had 93 advisors. And I was like, who are these advisors? Because when you look at it, like, in a critical, using a critical lens, number one, already the agreement, Kenyans are fearful. So what does that do? There's now mistrust. So most people will start avoiding public facilities. So what happens? Remember, we also use data to do our resource allocation, analyze ourselves, know what to prioritize, right? Now, when they have realized our data is being sold through data sharing, will people want to go to those public facilities? No. So what happens? You will collect, or I will go lie. I'll go to a hospital and lie because I don't want to give full. So it means you now start collecting wrong data. The moment you start also collecting wrong data, what happens? You'll not be able to do proper analytics. On the other hand, people no longer accessing those facilities because they don't want their data to be collected. So which data will you be using for planning?
I mean, Victor,
are you looking at the hidden costs? When you look at it now, when you go narrowing down and critically looking at it, you can look at how much damage has been done by Kenya being very weak and signing a deal
they do not understand.
That hits its people.
You look at that deal, Victor, and you also just pause and look at how much as a country we are investing into research and development, So we have always had this data. So let nobody lie that we have never had this data. But question now is abound on what exactly we have used that data for. Someone seated somewhere knows that data is the new oil. I can use this data to determine how much my big pharma will grow and where exactly I will sell these. Medicine that I'm producing. You look at even further into pharmaceuticals that are being used, say in farming. There's something that is banned in the global north, but is being used in Africa. So that means it is okay to produce for that continent because we want to make money. But back here, we will not use the pesticides that are being used. And you just pause and ask yourself, if we as a people, if governments invested into taking this data, mining it, and using it for research and development, such that even if you are going out there to ask for funds, you're asking for aid, you are using information that you've mined and you know exactly what you're targeting and how you will get it. Here, it is a blank check. Use this data as you may, provided $1.6 billion to Konayo.
Yeah, I mean, you're very right, and it's one of the questions we have often posed, and not just in this deal, in many other deals. We have a lot of data, and someone would say that actually there's no point in that data sitting somewhere without being utilized. But also remember, it's the country where we, of course, call ourselves the Silicon Savannah. And so at that point, you have to question or call to mind what exactly is the Silicon Savannah and how is it involved in utilizing this data. Because think about it, research and development is is money.
Yes.
It's just that I don't have the facts and the figures right now. But if you were to look at how much is allocated to research, but and how much we expect from research, to be honest, it's very low. Let's use a very simplistic baseline. Public universities are collapsing under the weight of debt, and it's most of the time debt, and even they're not getting what would be requisite allocations from Treasury. In those advanced places where we are signing these deals, public universities are heavily funded for research purposes. So if you're not investing in our own research, we cannot come back and claim that this data was sitting somewhere and nobody was using, and yet our own researchers are not being funded. I'm sure if we invested in research and these tools on this continent and even in this country, whatever we are trying to achieve through those guys would actually achieve ourselves.
Okay, that's interesting that you say that, because a couple of years ago we made a trip to the Kenya Medical Research Institute in Kilifi, the Kilifi
Wellcome Trust.
Right? And the stuff that these researchers are doing is phenomenal. In terms of what they're able to do, tracing, and we're talking about, and just on 2 diseases. I'm not talking about the wealth. I'm just talking about 2 diseases, malaria and sickle cell. Right? What they're able to do, and it's Kenyan homegrown research.
Yes.
The researchers are Kenyan doctors and scientists and medical practitioners and researchers. They're able to keep a lot of this research domiciled in Kenya. This information is here. And I wonder, and I remember talking to the likes of Dr. Sophie, who say if we just had a little bit more in terms of oomph, the very thing that nations are able to give 1.6 billion shillings for, we would then be able to do that
here.
Right here. We would then be able to get into clinical trials for our own diseases, which have a makeup that we've already studied. We have those. They're there on file. They have all of those things already. What they need is the connection, and in most cases, the connection is money that is needed to then be able to do these things.
Yeah.
So in terms of solutions towards these issues, because the issue is clear. On the Kenyan side, the issue is that money is needed to fund certain things, whether it's purchase of medication or whether it's payment for processes that allow other things to happen. Money is needed. But what that money is needed for, the answers lie in most cases right here. So can the focus shift? Because it's good to say the money will come. People who need ARVs will get them. But can the focus shift a little bit towards saying we can actually have those things done here and pay for them here cheaper? Is that being too aspirational? Or is that living in an ideal world where we say easier said than done?
No, I think, first of all, from that example itself, Wellcome Trust is a donor. And they're funding a lot of, whatever is going on in Kilifi is properly funded. But it just tells you one thing, that if we invested similar resources, we would have that level of brilliance and excellence in medical research in the country. We sit on, I know many times guys in the healthcare sector talk about the Abuja Declaration, which stated that, and all these countries were in Abuja to sign that declaration. It said we need to allocate 15% of our budgets to healthcare. I think as far as I recently checked, I think the best we've ever done is an 8% or something. We've never gotten to 15%.
No.
So, which then begs the question, are these declarations and meetings just paper declarations, good to have, not must-haves? Because that's where we need to start this conversation and say, okay, fine. By the time you came up with a 15% metric or 15% ideal, it was based on something
that you thought you could.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could achieve.
And you sat there as African countries.
Yes.
In full realization of what your budget would look like, and said 15% would be a reasonable step. Because right now, if they were, assuming then it's been almost 20 years now since their budget declaration. You'd sit in another meeting and make another milestone. But you see, right now, I don't think they're even in a position to sit in another meeting to set another milestone for budgeting for healthcare. It would have been still saying, okay, fine, let's do 15%, but we have since grown our budget. If my budget was $1 billion at that time, now it's $3 billion. Do I need still the 15% or increase? That is one. On the second thing on the way forward, is full disclosure on most of these things. The government needs to understand that we're operating in a low trust environment. Politically, economically, socially, it's a low trust environment. The other factor to note is that data is a very sensitive conversation right now. And it's also a trust economy. If I trust you, I'll give you my data. If I don't trust you, I'll not give you my data. Plain simple. And so at this moment in time, full public disclosure would have helped right from the point where this was being negotiated. And say, we are thinking through our healthcare financing, and these are the options we have on the table. Get a discourse going on, call your stakeholders to the table, and have everyone there. Because you see, one of the main concerns of the petition that has been filed and successfully gotten interim orders is the issue around just the public participation bit.
Right, yeah.
You can't go sign such a major deal and you have not consulted your people. Even then, disclose exactly what you're aiming to do here. Then people are able to participate. The next thing is around the data protection impact assessment. That thing has to be done. One way or the other, that's the only way you unlock. Because you see, it's a very detailed process where you identify the risk, you identify what processing will happen, and at that point you'll be able to actually tell us, this is the personal data we are collecting at the healthcare facility or whatever is in those electronic medical records. This is what will be aggregated, and from this aggregate data, this is what's being shared with the United States. If you just clear that logical flow, I don't think anyone will have an issue with you in terms of this data privacy. But you see, the problem is it's in the shadows. It's behind the curtain. So nobody has a clue or a grasp of what exactly is happening. And now, if you link that to the low trust environment, I was saying, anyone will block this project. And what she was referring to, Beatrice, around the chilling effect of this, it creates a chilling effect. You can imagine all the conspiracy theories that are now going around in the villages about this deal. They will say, this thing is now mark of the beast, is the 666.
The devil is coming.
Yeah, the devil is here to I mean, all the conspiracy theories will be there. And now the danger of that is, as she put it, you have people trying to avoid the healthcare system. People now go to self-medication. We don't know what actually at the local level, what people are telling each other about this deal. And so once you have people shunning the medical system, you essentially shoot yourself in the foot.
And from a policy perspective, then, is it all lost? Now that we have a case in court and the entire process has been stopped, how can, from a policy perspective, how can the Kenya government save itself? From self-destruction, pretty much.
One, it has to improve its data governance. It has to really strengthen. We know they
had 93 advisors.
They should fire those 93 advisors. Anyway, we had a DHA Act, I think 2023. What we need is those institutions so much strengthened, so that governance, there's a lot of transparency. There is a lot of, funding to those institutions to ensure that whatever data they are going to collect, they have the trust of the Kenyan people that they will actually do as they have said. But when we have individuals, who, for example, can siphon share money to ghost facilities, and then we see nobody is being reprimanded for that, your guess is as good as mine.
They're the ones signing deals.
It tells you those institutions are very weak. Okay? Yeah, these are the same people going to negotiate on our behalf for those American deals. Okay. The other thing is that we need to ask ourselves, I hope future governments, because hope is lost in this one, but with the future governments, what we want to say is that they can look at our health data when it is well stored, aggregated properly on our side, like they do has said, the Kilifi and all that, and we look at it for future, how we can use it at a higher leverage. I wish they were able to have this in store and say, we have a higher leverage to ask for more, or for better terms, or for better benefits. But they went with a begging bowl. You know, that's the unfortunate thing. They went with a begging bowl. So they need to look at the hidden costs. Remember, aid is temporary, but data is permanent. Aid will always be temporary, but data will always be permanent. Remember when even US said shut down and went with all our data, the Kenyan government was left in darkness. They didn't have any of that data because even those systems they were using were from foreigners. So, and whatever went, we don't even know whether we'll ever see it ever again. So that is a permanency in its essence. So let's enforce data governance laws. And I like what Victor here has insisted. That data governance is where our focus should be. And I think the courts should really reinforce on that. That until those setups are well placed, they can show a good logical framework, then we as Kenyan citizens will still be very skeptical with this government when it comes to
the future.
Analyzing our data and actually protecting our data in the long haul.
I mean, it's interesting that the courts have waded into this, obviously, with that petition that was taken to them by Senator Okoh to see what then happens. And perhaps there will be an insistence on, clear paths and then, coming back on that agreement and seeing what can be done with it. But that to have Kenyans aware of what is going on, I think continues to be an exercise that we cannot be lazy about engaging in when it comes to these things. Thank you both for being here this morning. It is not just a Debbie Downer session, but essentially for us to be aware of these things and to insist on them. Beatrice Cairo is a health economist and public policy expert, joined by Victor Njeri, who is a tech and human rights expert. Thank you both for being here with us this morning. And even as we continue with these conversations, what's your plan as you get into it? The folks at ICA Line are saying, we're getting into the place where you'll be sitting around family and friends over the next couple of days, and everybody's going to have a plan. You're kicking it, you've done a good job, you've gotten into the workspace or into the business space, and you're not quite sure what to do, and you're not quite sure if you're going to catch up with everybody else, but you don't need to worry about that. You can start by asking, what's my plan? What's your plan? And my good friends at ICEA Line will help you with that. What you need to do today is ask that question and log on to icealine.co.ke and get your plan moving. It can be sorted out for the future, and it can be done today. Good morning at 8 a.m.
The late 102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Public Service Commissioner Felix Koskei has called on the public to fully embrace the fight against corruption. In a statement on social media, Koskei said the fight against corruption requires collective responsibility, stressing that corruption must be made an unacceptable social evil. Koskei has now urged Kenyans to report and reject any acts of corruption within the bounds of the law, adding that sustained vigilance is essential to strengthening accountability and integrity in the public service. Some leaders in Mount Kenya region have declared their readiness to divide the region into two political blocs, following what they say is a long-standing division. Speaking in Manyata, Embu County Public Service, Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku has urged residents of the region to ignore leaders who are disparaging President William Ruto, insisting that some opposition leaders are aiming to incite residents of Mount Kenya to dislike the president.
We supported Kenyatta 1. We supported Kibaki. We supported Kenyatta 2. Na tu complain. Now wakai tuko na mmoja wetu, our neighbor, our brother, our son, who 2032 tutasukuma yeye akuwe rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Ndio watu wengine na hapa wanatuambia ati tutoke ndani ya serikali ni mbaya, William Ruto ni mbaya. Tunawaambia hata kama ni mlima tutaikata mara mbili. tupate title yetu ya Mount Kenya East na wao wakae na title yao ya Mount Kenya West.
Ruka's statement was echoed by Imbu Governor Sicily Mbarire.
To chart our own political destiny as a region. We have a deputy president who is a member of our region with our professor Idure Kitiki ambaye tunamwambia yeye ni fire.
That's the news wire. I'm Leah Obaga.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
You have land, Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it. If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around.
Yeah,
Why? Tell me what is this?
First of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
SRC's mandate is constitutional. It's not an advice. It's actually something you must do.
Must do.
Like now you abandon, of course, the narrative of Wheelbarrow, Mutomjengo, Mamamboga, and all those, that rosy narrative.
Your expenditure is 3.3 trillion, and you're collecting only 2.5. Out of that 2.5, you're spending 1.8 trillion to service loans and so forth.
That the CDF kit, it's in itself a symptom of corruption.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
At 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, our conversations continue this morning. This is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. Ndu and Dennis with you this morning. And as we're talking about these things, yes, it's going to rile you up just a little bit, but it's necessary. If that happens, it's a good thing because then it's going to spur you on to thought, and thought then will spur you on to action or speech. It is necessary for us to talk about these things. If it irritates you, then perhaps there's something that needs to be done about it, and that we all need to be involved in these conversations. Before we do get into the next one, how are we spending our money?
Airtel, unlimited fun data bundles. You know, 19 shillings for 1 hour. Why? You're spending 19 shillings for unlimited data for that 1 hour. 45 shillings for 3 hours, unlimited data bundles. What do we mean by unlimited data bundles? Let me give you a story. So, on Thursday, as we were having the Ruku Mass, right? It was being streamed live. So for that section of family that were in Bungoma, managed to follow through that service through YouTube, and there was no way you were going to follow 3 hours of that if you had limited data bundles that only limits you for 1 hour. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or for a data bundle that limits you for 30 minutes, you know. So here we're talking about you being part of processes, being part of those moments that mean a lot to you. And this is why Airtel is telling you, just dial *544# or go to your My Airtel app, or simply just get yourself an Airtel SIM card that you're able to get through that. Now, I've just given you an example where someone would have missed an opportunity to be part of that process. What is your story? Give us your story through our social media platforms, and Flavier will get in touch with you, and you stand a chance to win 3,000 shillings airtime, courtesy of Airtel. Get talking. Which is your former moment? Share that with us. In the meantime, remember, Airtel is here to tell you that affordable data bundles in unlimited fashion.
Very good.
Kabisa.
That's the kind of fashion that we like. We've also been discussing how to navigate that constantly changing world and how it comes to, when your money is involved, you need a plan that's easy to access. The good news, ICA Lion is making your financial journey seamless and digital. Forget the old-fashioned, complicated stuff. ICA Lion has digital channels like the WhatsApp chat Leo and the self-service portal, making planning super easy. They even have a retirement preparedness index tool. It helps you calculate exactly how much you need for retirement and gives you a specific target to plan towards. ICA Lion is making insurance and investments necessities, not luxuries, for a diverse group of people. So find your accessible, inclusive, and helpful plan today for just the question. What's your plan? Check out the digital tools at icealion.co.ke, and you can actually make it work. You can make it happen. All right. Our conversation takes on a part 2 about technology and elections this morning. We started it last week and we said we were going to have to continue it today because it's necessary for us to see how this can happen. Mm-hmm. Over the last couple of months, we've been told to imagine. John C.W. is here with us this morning, governance expert, and it's good that he's here. Bishop, good morning.
Morning to you. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Dennis?
Salam sana kwaje?
Thank you.
Good to see you, Karibu.
Good to see you again.
I always say that when we ask a bishop to come on a Monday, they've done us a big favor because it's usually your day off.
Yes.
Well, it's even a bigger favor for you to give us an opportunity to be heard.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this. We told folks that we would talk about this as much as we can and that we would come and have a further conversation.
Right.
That we see a lot of things in society today without realizing that the solutions may lie right in front of our noses. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into this conversation again this morning. But before we do that, Dennis has today's proverb.
Yes. Again from the continent here. And this one talks about just being fairness pretty much. And the Africans at the time said, they that dig the well should not be refused water. How would you interpret that?
The one that works is the one that should be paid. Mm-hmm. That's how I interpret.
Yeah.
Even the Bible says that if a man does not work, he shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So if you work, you should expect payment. If you don't work, expect nothing.
There you go.
Kalas.
Exactly. The last time we had this conversation, I think we were doing, and I say this with all carefulness, we were doing the same thing that the president of the country currently is doing. In many minds, is that dare to dream that there's an alternate reality to what you've seen before, or dare to imagine that this can actually be made possible. Dare to imagine that elections don't need to cost 2,000 shillings per Kenyan, but that they can actually cost under 40 shillings, and dare to imagine that the results are normally the issue, John, when it comes to elections, and that people say these results that this process has delivered is not believable to me. And because of that, I will then act. And then the result of that then is chaos or dissatisfaction with the system. But it all comes from the inability or the refusal to imagine that this process has seen this result, because the things that we've put in along the line, human intervention, lack of technology, lack of resources, have come up with this result which is unacceptable. And that is the case in a lot of elections. It's unacceptable because of those three factors having been applied. But what we are saying now is dare to imagine where there is a process that is void of those three things. And we are still trying to tell people that that is a possibility. How can we get into that again, even as... And so you left a lot of people saying, really?
Yeah, can imagine.
Can it really work? that I can vote. And I think one of the last things that we said is that we can vote. I can vote from my phone. And even that is secure. How can we actually have that as a possibility?
Okay. Now, we need to be very clear, crystal clear about a very fundamental truth. I don't know if it was here that I made a statement, and I would request you to maybe understand this. 2001, China finally joins the WHO. WTO, which is World Trade Organization. By the time China is coming on board, China is producing at a certain level, but they are not given the opportunity to sell their produce. I mean, they're not given a global platform to do so. So China finally comes on board and becomes, given rights, and they begin to produce. Fast forward it to, by the time China now comes on board, China, when it took over, it had approximately 22 dams. Ask me how many dams China has now. 22,000 dams.
1,000 times.
22,000 dams. I realized that the other day we had an issue with Kimwarer. We are still waiting for one dam to be to find out where the money went.
It was 36 billion.
Yeah. So 2015 now China comes forward, and that's why I'm just using China, and I would request again to the young people. I know we have internet, and I know we like talking more than listening, but it is wisdom to listen. A fool speaks because he wants to say something. A wise man speaks because he has something to say. They almost sound similar, but if you're wise, you'll understand the parable. So make sure you only speak because you have something to say, and in order for you to have something to say, you need to have first listened. So now China fast forward the whole issue, and in 2015, China comes up with the concept of Made in China 2025. Remember, they have an idea. Everything begins with an idea. Without an idea, you're doing nothing. Made in China, they even put the time period 2025. So within a 10-year period, there are several things that China wanted to be a master over. Number one is electric vehicles. I hope you know at that particular, Tesla is big. China is coming into power. No one is buying Chinese electric cars.
Right.
Anything to do with pure clean energy, China is not necessarily known to that level. So you have electric cars, you have clean energy, several things that China did. So what the government of China does is that it creates a subsidy within their vision. And I would like the Kenyan government to focus on that. They create a subsidy along that reality of anyone that is going to come on board and invest within these areas of our interest, the government will give approximately 22 to 24% of the subsidy. You can imagine, assuming you are needing 10 million, 22, let's say 25% is approximately 2.5 million, is already catered for. What would make you not invest in that business? So imagine the Kenyan government coming and saying, apart from 50,000 mushikane watu kumi, get come 10 people or 5 people, and let's give you 50,000 to do
empowerment.
Okay, but again, depending on the empowerment and what you're really looking at, it depends. So now the people begin to, BYD is one of the companies that actually comes on board. And as we are talking right now, as we are talking right now, and I want you to hear it, China has overtaken Tesla in terms of production of electric cars. I hope you know that. Number two, the amount of money that it will take you to buy let's say a Rolls Royce. There's a certain car in China that is competing powerfully with more features than the Rolls Royce. The car is approximately less, I think $100,000 or less. So you can imagine how much money you're saving, all up from $500,000 down to $100,000. So it becomes competitive. There is a sports car that, you've seen it's bouncing.
Yes.
All that is Chinese information. Lamborghini can't even come close. You will understand why I'm saying that. So all that is within the 10-year framework. Made in China, remember, 2020. So by 2025, these are the several things we need to have mastered within a 10-year period of time.
Right.
I hear a lot of people saying, China is already ahead. We are talking now about 10 years, which I hope you know Singapore and Kenya got independence approximately, give or take 2 years, apart from each other. And today Singapore is where it is, with very little minerals and stuff like that. So China now comes on board and they begin to make these systems. And now, fast forward, today, China is able to produce, the electric company is able to manufacture and assemble 2 electric vehicles per minute.
I'm sorry?
Every minute, China is able to produce 2 electric vehicles per minute. Something Tesla cannot keep up with. Now remember, 10 years ago, are they in the plan?
No.
So 10 years later, they are part of the plan. I'm only saying this to show those people that bring the concept of, can it work, can it do? Well, that's not the mind of a person that wants to change anything. Because equally speaking, the nations that are doing it, at some point, they were not able. So how did they do it? They made a plan and they set a time frame that by 2027, we need to have started assuming voting electrically. That should be the first thing. It's not about whether it can work or it can't work. Can we first begin to produce electric cars by 2025? Today, China has overpowered. China has totally gone ahead and is doing all those things. Secondly, China is now the biggest 3 solar power company, or rather production. The biggest 3 of them in the world are in China. 10 years ago, they are not known for that. 10 years later, the biggest 3 of them. The biggest 3 wind power systems, they're in China. 22,000 dams up from 22 dams are in China. 6% of the clean water in China, in the world, the global clean water, is in China. I hope you're understanding that.
Yeah.
So the question I'm asking, how did they begin? They began by setting a plan and desiring to achieve it. Not telling us it's possible, it's not possible. There is nothing impossible in this world. I mean, you seated there, who told you are possible? Let me ask you something, my sister. 20 years ago or something, in that assumption, assuming, if someone, you would have told your parents, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be seated in SpiceFM and I'm going to be the main person, would they even have believed it? 30 years ago, 20 years ago, would everyone have believed it? No, but the fact that you sat there, you proved them wrong by the day.
Yeah.
So it's not about whether you believe it can be done or it can't be done. The fact that we've set our plan and then we say that we want Kenya to be fully electric by this time. We have a lot of time between now and 2027. Everything begins with setting up a goal. Once you set up a goal, the rest of the things are history.
Brings the question in terms of the defeatist mentality that does exist, you know. It is a question of everyone that you've just mentioned, even Steve Jobs, and coming up with the technology of mobile phones today. You know, no one ever thought about it the way he did. Touchscreen. What do you mean? You've never seen that before. But he had a dream. He had a plan around it. The reason why today we pay homage to what he did. But here we are in terms of show us where this has worked before so that we can trust you. And that is defeatist mentality, because we do not trust in ourselves, we do not believe in ourselves. But how do we change that, John? How do we, because at the end of the day, you look at the likes of IEBC, and here is a product that they ought to pick up and run with it, because it is cheaper for the Momanyi. It is cleaner, it is fair, it is credible. Everything within the constitution that you want to achieve is through this technology. Why the defeatist mentality, or is it just how we are?
Change is very difficult, and there are several types of change. The first type of change is willing change. This is where the partner must play a part within their minds, their framework of their hearts, to see to it that it happens. The second type of change is what you call forced change. And this is where many governments here, I hope you know, governments respect noise. They are not willing to do it, but they are forced to do it. I mean, you can imagine how many nations, the other day, which nation, is it Madagascar? You have several nations that clearly, which nation actually overturned, and the president, they took out the president and they put in a new one. All things are possible. But there are 2 types of change. Remember, the first one is willing change, where the parties must be involved willfully. They must get to a point where they themselves are tired with what currently is working. You must the Bible says on that day, when you are tired, the anointing will break the yoke off your neck. But you have to get tired of your current situation. Kenyans must get tired of fighting every 5 years. Kenyans must get tired of killing each other every 5 years. Kenyans must get tired. Now, assuming Kenyans have not gotten tired, you deploy the second reality of it, the second type of change, which is what you call forced change. What does that mean? In forced change, you do it, they catch up later. You start playing your part. You insist, even though you can find resistance here and there. I mean, take the case of Mandela. Mandela was not given South Africa. That's forced change. In as much as some people, then eventually those people that did not understand what it was, because of what they are now beginning to see, okay, it's working like this, it's working like this, it's working like this, then their will begins to take place. Now, we cannot neglect the fact, and I want to repeat this, Kenya, it is up to you. You want these people to play games with you, that's your problem. Then secondly, you need to ask yourself a question. Let's compare what is with what needs to be. What is spends approximately 2,000 per voter. I'm assuming right now Mbadi has, our Minister of Finance, has spoken that we need 61.7 billion, up from 40-something billion. That would mean even the voter, the amount of money which was from 2,000, we are assuming he should be able to, I mean, it's going to go higher, whether it's by 200 or whatever. Here is a system that is telling you per voter is 36 bob. Then here is a system telling you per voter is 2,000. Number one. Here is a system telling you that the Form 34As can be tampered with. Here is a system that's telling you it cannot be tampered with easily. And you remember the computing power in order for you, remember how we spoke about it, in order for you to hack and change it. Thirdly, here is a system that's telling you, guaranteeing you that diaspora votes are going to be more because of the comfort of voting from your home. Here is a system that's telling you,
you can't do it.
We can't do it. I'm giving you the options. Number four, here is a system that's telling you your vote, you can be able to look to really fact check your vote, that your vote really counted, as opposed to here is a system that's telling you, trust us, we are the ones that know who voted.
Piga kura chunga kura.
Exactly, you can imagine that concept. Number five, so I'm giving those statistics so that people can begin, and that's why I'm saying, in as much as we have a great opportunity, we can't force you to want to change. Kenyans themselves must get tired, and especially of one thing. And by the way, I'm saying this, the biggest reason I'm fighting for this is death. To see even one person dying for one person to be voted in, to me it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't die to put me into power. You should be alive to see me in power to help you. The fifth thing I'm talking about, here is a system that's telling you anyone from the comfort of their houses can vote. Here is a system that's telling you, go to your polling station. So if you just compare the 5-6 things, compared to many other things, let me ask you a layman's language. Let's just be a layman's point of view.
Right.
Looking at these comparisons, what option would you rather take? Looking at these comparisons.
Soft life.
I mean,
it's clear that,
right?
It makes sense.
So in as much as we would like to pamper this generation and say, but there is no but. In order for Singapore to be Singapore, there is forced change. In order for China to be China, there is forced change. In order for Kenya to be Kenya, people must force that change. And if you really love this nation, you must first do anything to protect it. Forget your member of parliament, forget who you love. Protect Kenya before you protect your leader. Because without Kenya, the leader has nowhere to lead.
It's interesting as you say these things, and I imagine the pictures play through my mind of, the different electoral processes that I've witnessed or experienced over the last give or so 15 years for every election cycle over the last 15 years, and it's been marred by the things that you talk about. There's been resistance to the will of the people. There has been alleged misbehavior or misconstruction of the facts. This has been the case, and that it's not something that people look forward to. It's something that people dread. That's the truth. That people dread that period when this will happen, because they say, okay, so now what's going to happen? The truth of the matter is that today, folks are having a conversation about two things: leaving the country before the election happens because they are afraid. This is the truth. And we can say it today, and people can say that we are complaining, but it is the reality of our times, that people want to gather their families and not be in Kenya. If an event should take place, like an election that will happen in 2027, that is going to be many times worse than what we saw just 2 weeks ago. So they will leave, or there is the expectation that things will be bloody. That's what's in people's minds today.
True.
But we're still existing in a reality whereby we've taken that in, and we almost are laughing about it now. And we say, yeah. Look at what the by-election was. And we laugh and we say, 2027 is going to be
fire.
It's going to be that on steroids. And for some reason, we're okay with that. How do we remove ourselves from that reality? Or how do we say this connection should not happen? We should not be thinking like that. I mean, can we even say, it sounds like something you would say to a child, don't eat this, But that's how people are thinking today, that I will run away or I will be a spectator to the madness and violence that's going to take place.
Let me speak it from this point of view, if you allow me. So Adam and Eve are created. Adam and Eve make a mistake. Adam and Eve leave the garden. What's the redemption plan? God leaving heaven and coming down, so that what is down can be reinstated back to heaven. You should not fear the mud. We should be willing to, like Jesus, leave our comfort zone and come to where the game is being played, so that we can be able to change. The goal is Adam and Eve, which is Kenyans. And I can tell you, let's take an assumption, what you have said, which is a very factual thing, and people should not ignore that. Let me ask you a question. What is the number of people in comparison to their capability of leaving Kenya? Which people are these that are going to leave Kenya if 54% lives under $1 a day? So I'm trying to imagine, if you're living under $1, is it food you think about, or you're going to save that dollar a day and eat nothing for a full year so that you can have money to go to Uganda? So these people that we are saying, they are going to walk out of Kenya, in comparison to the biggest number, what do you think the ratio probably would be?
True.
Probably a 10 to 90 I mean, the other day you saw that 125 people are controlling wealth equivalent to 43 million people. So what percentage is that? I'm assuming that's 0.0 something.
Who will actually
be able to leave? So when you look at it from the bigger picture, the people that are staying are superior. In assumption the people would leave, it would only probably affect a little bit of the economical structure. But the human resource of it will not be able to leave this country and do anything. And again, I want to say this. We are not... One of the things which I don't say is the best teacher, but you have to look at it from your past experience. Experience is not always the best teacher. In the view of you having gone through it, I can learn from your experience. I don't need necessarily to go through it because I might die. I mean, maybe you have the grace to come out of the issue, and then me, I'm like, no, if she did or if he did, I'm also, no, you might die. So my experience is to learn from your experience without necessarily going through it myself. So the fact that some of these young guys will probably not appreciate where Kenya has come from, so they might not necessarily know where Kenya is going. Elderly people, probably people that are in their 40s, late 30s, 40s going upwards, they might probably appreciate where Kenya has a little bit come from. Reason is because we have an idea of what 2007 looked like. To imagine that I can think about a Kenya where I can see my neighbor literally stabbed to death is something unimaginable. And for you to say that it is this tribe, you can't bring tribalism into someone telling you that 2027 might look bad. Just think about what has happened in the by-election. Look at leaders in this nation. I mean, respected leaders chasing someone, holding them down. I think you saw it. Was it in Njeri or wherever? A whole respected leader that has been in government wanting to fight. Now, if that leader can think about it that way, what is the assumption of 43 million, 50 million Kenyans? What is it going to look like? Tanzania has reflected the reality. And you know Kenyans are fighters. Tanzania were fighting on the border. So Kenyans were telling them, take the fight to the city. Kenyans are, where it has gotten to, I'm seeing, the way a forest is dry, all it needs is a spark,
to
and
get a
the
fire
is up burning. Kenya is literally getting to that place, and all it needs is someone to spark, tribal sparks, economical sparks, social sparks, even church sparks, where you see a pastor saying, you can imagine a pastor does not understand that the president does not have the power to build a church, and I'm a pastor, on a public ground without consultation. Then a pastor just rises up and tells me, or tells pastors like us who have that point of view, that we are antichrist because we are rejecting the altar to be built. It means the fight has even gotten into the pulpit. So if the fight is inside the church, and the church is where people should run to, assuming 2027 things don't change, just imagine the divide the divide will be all the way from the church to the mosques, to the institutions, to the some of our media stations are bought, clearly you can see. And by the way, I thank Standard, because unlike many, when you just look at the headings of Standards, you're like, man, thank God for Standard Media Group, because you say it as it is. Sometimes I look at your headings and you're like, these people, are they serious? Because there's no sugarcoating. Now, to find media productions like that are rarely bought, we all can tell the ones that are bought. So you can see the divide all the way from the marketplace to media, to churches, to mosque. Is gonna get dark.
One would look at it in terms of if you look at the technology that you're now talking about and the solutions that it brings to the elections, we know for a fact that this is something you've presented to our EBC, right? They are, one would say, they have consumed the information. They know what is needed to be done. But for some weird reason, there is some lull, some silence in going full throttle in even ensuring that Kenyans are aware of this, that they partake in this, that they move forward. Because like you've said, China, 2015, they wanted by 2025 to be the greatest producers of clean energy, of electric cars and all that, right? It started by a dream. This is a dream that they have. Are we not tired enough for things not working? Are we not tired that we just want things to work so that we get out of the hole that we are in? Like you've said, we don't have to live a difficult life for us to say we got out of it. We can learn from bad experiences, which is countries around us, and what a bungled election would mean, and purpose to not walk that route and do everything possible to have a proper election. What's up with that? Have IEBC gotten back to you after presenting this?
No. So apparently this is the thing. The democratic space that Kenya is operating under has what you call a constitution. And I would want Kenyans again to listen. We don't just come from the bush to speak to you. We have an understanding of what we are saying. And today we're going to show you practically, in assumption that everything is set. Article 81 and Article 83 of the constitutions. Again, Kenyans, read your constitutions. Don't just wake up and say youth for youth. Youth for youth for what? Why are we coming together? Are we coming together to remove a person? No. We are coming together to remove bad governance. So that despite the person, whether the person is your tribe or the person is my tribe, bad governance is bad governance. Now, within that structure of the fact that Article 81 and Article 83 of the Constitution allows us to dream to these heights.
Right.
It's within the constitutional borders. We are not just, illustrating things that and assuming. So now the IBC chair, we've already shared this, and as I told you, all the commissioners were there. Deputy chair, I think she's a lady, very young.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably 32 or 33 years
She's
of age,
yes.
a Muslim lady, an amazing person. I can tell you that within that whole structure, that lady was really keen, because after we did it, she came to me and told me, wow, we need to make this thing push through. She's young. She has an understanding of what needs to be done. And I'm saying that in comparison to, the number of people that are coming out to participate in the protest. So by looking at it from that point of view, it's not that people are not tired. The leaders have a way of twisting that perspective And I want to remind Kenyans what Article 1 of the Constitution reflects to. All sovereign power does not belong to politicians. It belongs to the people. So you must understand what is sovereign power. It means we reserve the right to say, this is not it and this is it. So because the leaders know that they can just come and two of them are in the car, one is saying, a whole person that we call a professor. Then the other one is on the other side saying, Naskia soprano. Sasa, just imagine 50 plus 60-year-olds. That's what they are saying. And then now the problem is the people down here, we don't read. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Imagine you going to the hospital and then you sit down and you're saying your problem and everything, then someone treats you. Then after you have been given the medicine and he even tells you, take now, the person tells you, by the way, for your information, I just wanted you to know I'm a plumber. This is not. I don't do this. The main doctor was not here. I just had to stand in for the main doctor. Let me ask you a question. Would you trust that thing? So Kenyans, that's what is happening to us. We really need to know who are the doctors of our constitution, who are the doctors of this problem, so that we stop giving time to plumbers to tell us about things that have to do with medicine. And we have those doctors. If you are really keen to listen to some specific voices that are speaking, we are not the only ones. We are among the very few people that are pushing that reality. So the IEBC chairman looks at me and he tells me, we would want to push these things. He was very honest. We would want to take it to our social media. But you know where the buck lands or rests? We have three arms of government: the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. So the members of parliament is which arm? Legislative. That is where it lies. So they are like, we're going to talk to them. Let them give us an opportunity to come and present. So what we are doing at this particular point, we are pushing the members of parliament. If you have nothing to hide, give us an opportunity to come and present. So the much that the IEBC chair can do is to listen and to say we are willing to use. But now the second point of view is the members of parliament to come on board, listen to the whole project, vote it, then allow us to do a demo. Even if it's from parastatal level, give us an opportunity. Let us show you what we have built and the security around it. If you love Kenya, you need to love what makes Kenya great. Okay. And this is part of it.
Usually, I remember growing up and there would be a certain subject that I would be afraid to attend its class. And that was because I didn't understand. I didn't understand a lot of the things that were being taught. And I was afraid to go and ask questions because it would make me look stupid. And I didn't want to look stupid. And the lack of knowledge was a crutch to me. So I would not ask questions during class. Right. And I became afraid of the subject, not because it was a bad subject, but because I didn't understand it. Right. And so because I didn't understand it, then the likelihood of me approaching it then decreased by every day. And so my grades at the end of that particular course were not very good because I was afraid, and the reason for that fear was because I didn't understand. We want to look at this, and the reason why I'm saying that is there a possibility that we don't want to accept this thing because we don't understand? What we understand is, it's just like now day and age that there's some supervisors in some human resource departments that imagine that if they don't see you physically, John, you must not be working. The way the world has changed, it's possible to be in another country and actually get work done. And so the same thing for voting, for example. If you don't see a paper entering into a slot and falling into a box, then a vote does not count. It's not possible that a vote has taken place, right? So the acceptance of this thing is because we don't understand, so we are afraid of it. I don't know if
I get it. I get it. Very powerful point.
So how do we release that fear? I could have walked to Miss Preston and I could have asked her, please, aside from the other 30 students in this class, can you explain this thing to me? And she would have, and I would have understood it, and my fear would have been gone. So this is an opportunity that we have again. Can you show us this thing? Let us understand what it is, and then perhaps our fear, day by day now, will start to subside, and we can understand. And us could also mean the members of parliament where this block is.
Have you ever previously, years back, ever gone to the Mama Mboga and you have bought some things and you want to make a payment, remember some time back, and you tell Mama Mboga, what's your M-Pesa number? Do you remember how Mama Mboga was rigid?
Yeah.
And she was like, because they want to see the actual money.
True.
Question, did it stop us from moving towards M-Pesa? Did Mama Mboga eventually catch up? Or we said, let's take the Mama Mboga pace. Which options did we take between these two?
Forced change.
Forced change. So Mama Mboga has to catch up.
She had to catch up.
Kenyans will need to catch up.
And I think Kevin, it's important for us to just also realize that IEBC, as it says that it now lies squarely in the purview of Parliament, that IEBC itself can make recommendations to Parliament and request for amendments to the law and also for improvement of the electoral process. So IEBC can equally do that. So as we look at members of Parliament, is IEBC drafting a proposal to members of Parliament to discuss? Is another question.
Okay.
Very important. Very important. And actually they are. The other day we were having that discussion. I think this is my point of view. The government must allow specific office to work independently. As much as you see the willingness of an individual, you can still see that the office is still dependent on another office. For example, the police department, right? Departments like the IEBC, we really know they're just independent from face value, but very dependent from a very fundamental foundational value point of view. And my appeal would be that. And by the way, as you're saying, in as much at the end of it all the buck lays because of the way Kenya is structured. The members of Parliament are the people that pass the bill. But again, someone was telling me, what if you don't have the members of Parliament? There is something superior to members of Parliament. Can I tell you? Article 1 of the Constitution.
People.
All sovereign power belongs to the people. We came ready, by the way, to show you and to educate. And those of you that don't know, we have been educating people on so many platforms. Talk of TV, talk of radio, talk of our social media platforms. And next year, we are going fully all out. We will be in your county. Blockchain 47. That's what we are calling it. Blockchain 47. We'll be in 47 counties, making sure that we educate the people. And by the way, let's say this. Eventually, there is a lady in our church that was married for a long period of time, but unfortunately, they were not getting a child. So she came to me and asked me, what should I do? I don't know why I spoke like this, and I want to be very professional online. I just told them, go and keep doing what a husband and a wife should do to get a child. That was the only thing I said. A year passed, a second year passed, a third year passed, but because they kept doing, on the fourth year, the child came. If we keep doing what we are doing, eventually
change will come.
Change will come.
So let's vote.
Let's vote.
We have Jesse here. If you allow us to bring Jesse on board. Jesse is among our people in the team. And so Jesse, how are we doing it today?
Thank you so much for having us here. So basically today we are going to be demonstrating the very elemental concepts of this system. So I think much has been said about this system, but now I think it's time for the action, right? So I hope it's visible.
Yeah, she'll find you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So okay. So how this system has been structured? When you're working with a blockchain, with blockchain technology, the very security of the system is as good as the parties involved in the system, because we There are alternative ways we can look at it. The earliest form of blockchain technology is like we spoke about last time. We have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. Those are we can say the oldest forms of blockchain. But as we keep evolving, we are getting to what is called the distributed ledger technology. That's DLT. It's still blockchain technology, but as we keep going, we keep using better versions of, we are arriving at more refined ways of doing this. And so in respect of that, we have our system here on its home screen. Hope it's visible. It has an interface that is basically meant to include everybody.
Okay.
Mostly we have the voter, we have election observers. Actually, we can, as we evolve at deployment, we can set this system up so that each political party is able to have an account where they're able to track the votes of their candidates.
Okay.
That's one of the benefits of this system. I'd like to say something.
So all this thing of people going to a polling station to sit there and protect the vote, everybody having a super agent, national agent, out of the window.
You just need to have an agent whom has access to, we can customize it to have the candidates of your political party, so you're able to follow up on your
performance, pretty much,
from wherever you are without crowding a polling station.
Because one of the things that really increase the margin of error is a lot of people in one place, and human is to error. So you don't expect accuracy where too many people are. They always say that many cooks spoil the broth.
True.
Yes. Another thing I'd like to add this morning on this as we go is that, you see, we've been talking about security, and last time I want to respond to a question somebody asked. Somebody asked a question, and they were asking, once a single group controls over 50% of the hash rate or the proof of work or staked coins. Okay, proof of work, we're talking about Bitcoin. Proof of stake, we're talking about Ethereum. Bitcoin is secured by power. Ethereum is secured by wealth.
Okay.
Because you stake a lot of money to prove you can validate information. You have money at stake. I'm getting to the system, just trying to explain.
Sure, get it.
So the question is, once a single group controls over 50% of the hash rate or staked coins, they can secretly build a longer private chain that omits the information that has already been appended on the system. Well, that is an advantage, because if at all that's possible, if everyone has a receipt that they have voted and you have that original proof, if tampering takes place, we have proof that the election has been tampered with.
Right.
So it is you can't hack the election and get away with it, because the voters themselves have the original proof of what they had fed the system. So should you manage to corrupt this information, people will eventually check it as the election is going on and see that actually what I voted is not what has come out. So even the basis of rerunning an election is on consensus that everybody is like, we voted, but
election is bungled.
Yes. Okay. So it's very transparent. So now we get to our system here.
We are going to do a practical of it. So how the vote will work all the way from the beginning and the end, and we show you the winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll start with the admin console. This is what the electoral body, which is the IEBC, should be able to have in their system. Now, for the sake of time, I have already fed the system with the candidates, and I'm just going to show you the process of a voter confirming the eligibility.
Okay.
So this is the admin console. As you can see on your screen, you have the system there. Now this is what the people who manage this election will be able to do. So what you can see here that we have the election window. I had already set this system to start the election at 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
That is why here at the top, you can see that voting is open.
It's ongoing.
On the console.
All right.
You can see the election is going.
Okay.
So now I'll just change the time to start in the next at 9 a.m.
Okay.
No, start
Start
immediately.
now.
Okay.
The next 1 minute.
Okay, let me start in the next
don't
1 minute.
have much time.
All right. 8:53. Let me set 54. And end in the next 5 minutes, if that's okay.
Yes. So what he's doing is that he's showing you how the IBC will be setting.
Will be setting. Okay.
It begins at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., whichever time, and it ends at. So you're gonna see there from 8:54. Then you have set it to end at what time?
9 a.m.
So at 9 it will shut down, and then we're gonna see whether immediately it gives you the winner.
The winner.
So you can see right here at the top, voting is closed because I've changed the time. But as soon as the system synchronizes with the current time, it will immediately show that voting is
because it's not yet 8:53. Those little points are very important.
Very important.
I really request the people on the other end to show the computer so that those little details, like that top part written voting closed.
Voting is closed.
You can't vote until that
until it
set
is open.
time is open. So let's say it's 20. If we go by your watch, it's how many seconds to 8:54? It's 30 seconds.
Right.
So you're gonna see the word there say open
Okay.
in 30 seconds. Continue.
All right. So now I'll go quickly to the view of a voter. So the voter is here. I'm just going to sign this one out. Then we can now get to the portal of the voter.
Okay.
So if the system is reading that voting is closed, you can register.
You can register while it's still closed. Okay.
But if election is already on, registration closes.
Okay.
And voting can happen. Those two logics are very important to pay attention to, because there's no way we can have people registering and voting on election day. It's actually not according to the protocol of how elections are done.
Yeah.
So here we have an account. We'll just quickly sign in.
So I think your voting time is open now.
Yes, so voting time is open. So this is what the voter will just do. I'm just going to use random numbers for the ID. Let's call this one
son name.
Let me use Abdallah Ali. So that's the name and the ID number. So you can see you get to select.
These processes are very important.
It's very important.
If you can show them, it will be. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. So once now you the next step is to confirm where you are, your location, if it matches what you had actually registered on, during the registration process. This ensures that as you're viewing the candidates who to vote for, you see, if you're in Machakos, you have no business seeing candidates from Murang'a.
You only see what is pertinent to you at that point.
Save for the position of the president, because that's a global position. It's national.
Right.
Everyone can see the president.
Okay.
So all other information, that's why this tab is particularly important. You can now see your voter jurisdiction, you set your constituency, you set your ward. Right, then you can proceed. Now, this is actually now where it gets interesting. We're at the biometrics tab. Now the biometric, this is why I was saying, if at all somebody was to even hack, assuming it's possible, it's really difficult, because it's mathematically an impossibility. It's improbable. The probability is quite low. But what is your security is you, because in as much as I can try and duplicate information, I can't duplicate you, because your key to this system is your biometric, your fingerprint, maybe your iris, those unique identifiers. So here, the voter is going to scan their thumb or whatever. The system will just instruct them. So that I'm going to just scan my.
So he's scanning his thumb.
Yes.
You're going to see there.
And once I'm done with that, it's going to hash that that becomes my identity. It's unique to me, and that's when I create a token to allow me to vote. So I'm going to quickly scan. Right. So you can see there, it's saying biometric hash. And it has given me bio and a random number. Now that's my identity.
Okay.
It's not my actual name. Nobody knows who I am in that sense.
They can see it as turned. Now you can see it was turning color.
Yes.
Then it has become green. It means it has been accepted. You've seen that right
The
there.
vote has happened.
The vote, yeah.
And now I can complete registration.
So this is registration has happened.
So registered. Now since voting is open, the voter, Abdallah Ali, can now proceed, and now he can be able to see the candidates. Now this is your ballot paper. But if there was any issue in this process, you will not get to actually vote.
Okay.
Right. So this is what's happening on this end. Now we can go back to the admin console to see election voting is open. That's why Abdallah could be able to actually access. If the system was closed, maybe we can close to show that.
No. So if the system is closed, Abdallah would not be able to access
the
the
system. Will just tell him voting
Right.
is closed.
Is closed,
so he
yes.
can't. He just have to wait.
Okay.
All right. Now you've seen practically how the system means a token. Now that token is linked cryptographically to your biometric, be it your fingerprint or whatever biometric is used. Let's stick to the fingerprint. So it means that once that has happened, your token is now already live. It has been activated.
Yeah.
So now we will show you after voting what happens, because once you've voted, that token is no longer valid. It has to be banned. Last time I talked about minting and banning. So at registration, at verification, that's minting. After voting, that's banning. So you can see we are still ongoing. We have 1 minute. Let me go back and vote quickly. So this is because of setting up this system, we just referred to 2022.
Okay.
We just used those. So let's just vote randomly. Okay, they have it to be random.
Just vote whichever the case. Yeah.
Right.
So that is for what?
This is Nairobi. We're in Nairobi now.
The first one is for the president.
Yes. Now this is the president's.
Excuse me, just a second. Forgive me. We want the people to see. You know exactly. So keep it like that. So that people can see. Right. Okay. So let's go slowly. The first one.
We have 40 seconds.
He has voted for the president. Next.
So next you can see the governor.
Governor.
You will select, we are voting from Nairobi. That's Sakaja.
Senator.
For the senator, we had not fed the system. There was a bit of an issue there. But basically you can get the logic. The vote allocates for 6 positions of the ballot. Senator, women representative, we'll just vote randomly. MCA. Okay. According to the time on this one, the voting has closed, so I can't vote now.
Okay.
It has already passed time.
9. You remember how he said to the
9. So you see, when it gets to evening and you've not voted, you simply can't vote.
You can't vote after that.
Yes.
So these are the intricacies of the system that we're looking at. What we should have done was to have set the time and voted immediately, and then closed after that.
Yes, but I had to explain. That's why we
Sure, I understand, and it's and that alone gives an explanation that we can't be outside of the timings, for example. Some of the foul play that we've seen previously that has resulted then in the need to protect a vote then has been shut out by this. And even as we then close down on this conversation, I mean, opportunities then lie for us to look into it a little bit more, because people want to then be able to see and understand. Now, looking at the system and what it then provides, the question still remains lingering, and we can see the questions that are coming in from folks. Why would you want to, based on the 5 questions that you asked, again, comparing the two, why would you want to say no to something that would be very clear in terms of the technology and also the result, what you can protect?
Actually, the ones that the question is to are approximately 300 people that are sitting on that. Kenyans have no problem. Kenyans are willing to pursue anything that can be of interest to them. So this why should only be asked to a very secluded group of people, which happens to be the members of parliament. And we can all tell. I don't think, in my view, honestly looking at it, I'm now realizing so many things. I don't think, in my view, that when Right Honorable Raila said at some point his votes were taken, or you hear another person say that, it's a possibility with the kind of setup we have, because it's very penetratable. In order to reduce that reality, we will need to create an impenetrable, or rather to reduce the capability of penetrating these kind of things. Just imagine right now in 2022, how much money did Kenya use for a when they went to the, was it in 2017? 2017.
Yep.
You can imagine how much money we used again to go back to
the ballot.
To the ballot. So it's not an issue necessarily of why would people, it's why would the leaders. And the people, what we want to do is to make sure that the people understand there's something like this, so they push their leader. So we are able to see who is that person that doesn't want change, so that we can apply the second type of change, which is forced change.
Are we our own enemies?
Are we what?
Our own enemies.
They say if you want to hide anything from an African, put it in a book.
My God, were you listening to the show this morning at about 6 o'clock? Because
that's exactly what he said.
Exactly. We asked two things to happen this morning. One is that as people travel, to please be careful. Wait that 1 minute so that you don't get mashed. But wait for 30 seconds to save a life. And then we said, please, okay, fine. Maybe 2025 is over. 2026, read a book, even one. If you start in January and finish in December, it is okay. But read one thing. Okay, read the Constitution. Okay, read the Bible. I mean, come on.
Just read.
Okay.
It is that way. And I can say this, Kenya, no one is coming to change Kenya.
Yeah.
If you want Kenya to burn it. If you want Kenya to change
it.
The choice is up to you. No one is coming to change our nation apart from us. We will need to step out of the ignorance level where people, listen, you don't see, no pregnant woman is pregnant by osmosis.
It's a process.
That change was made to happen. I don't want to say beyond that. Change doesn't change because it can change. Change is made to happen. We can make Kenya change. And I believe that
an uncomfortable question that one would ask is, you presented these, Bishop, and as well as we know the fact that you approached 200 million was given to you.
Was suggested.
Was suggested, yes. Sorry, was suggested. Yes, was suggested. Yeah. So what have we seen? Have you experienced any kinds of interference in any way? Or any attempts?
Political interference, life interference, so many interferences. Right now I have so many people that want to be my friends. So many people
all of a sudden
to be my friends. On Saturday I was running a program called the Future Leaders Summit, where we had called several people. I think we had invited Ndindi Nyoro, Babu Owino. All of a sudden that morning I was coming from Siaya. I came very early in the morning. I had gone to Kibabi University to talk to the tech people concerning the same thing. So I've been doing a lot of things on ground. All of a sudden, our Honorable Babu Owino is sick. I cannot say much. Only for the sabotage is unimaginable. The way people are willing to make, I'm so shocked with the levels people are willing to go to keep the status quo. There are people that not changing is how they make money. When systems don't change, that's where money is made for some people.
That's interesting that you say that, because the CS Treasury was here last Thursday and he said the exact same thing. He said that they're trying to put systems in place in the country, digital systems in place, and that he has people who are calling him daily, who are telling him, why are you doing this? That what you're doing is sabotaging how we've been able to do business in the past. And he said, yes, that's what we're going to do. If that is what it means, sabotaging, we're going to sabotage. Now, can that exist in the same system where a political system also exists, where the opposite is happening? On one side, Treasury says, we're plugging all the loopholes. If that is the appetite, shouldn't that be the appetite then across board?
At the end of the day, change must look like change. You can't change and unchange at the same time. So if we are coming on board, we are literally coming to kill a system, not to work with a system. Because let me ask a question. What are the fruits of that system? For corruption, bad governance, political prostitution,
bungled election.
Just imagine all those kind of things. So in as much as you would want to accommodate some things, the reality of the matter is we will need to refresh this whole, the way you take your phone back to factory setting. We will need to factory reset Kenya.
Hard stop.
Complete hard stop. complete hard stop, because I came with a document here to show you how ready we are. I don't even have time. Maybe one day. And by the way, thank you so much I feel like you have given us so much airtime. We were here the other day, but I'm sure it's because there is some wisdom to it. And so thank you so much to the group and everyone involved. We have so many things we can show you that we have built, not just necessarily on voting. These systems we have built will secure things like, the way you gazette, what do you call them? The government gazettes, the contracts that... Tenders.
Yes.
We have systems whereby if you want to apply for anything, just go to that system. We have already built it. We have health systems, they're here. If you want any tender, go there. If you want to know who built which road, how much money did they use, blockchain is not just about voting. It's literally we are bringing a new system. You don't need to go and say, I know now a member of parliament, I can get, like now, I can go get housing project, because no, go to the system. The system will vote you in itself. We are looking for this kind of person. The lowest bidder is like this, key into the system. My name is so-and-so, these are my documents. The system will reject or accept. No human interference of any kind. No human interference of any kind. So what we are building goes beyond 2027. We are into the future because we are the future.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where we are. And that, you thank us, but I think that if we don't have this level of conversation and discourse, we're doing ourselves a disservice if we're talking about, doing better, progression, the future. That if we don't, then if we keep going round and round in circles about which politician said what, and we want to get better tomorrow, and we don't have this kind of discourse, then we're doing a great injustice and a disservice to that future that we speak of. So necessary for us to have these conversations, and that you've been able to lend your voice to it, and that you won't stop. It'll be interesting to see Blockchain 47. People have already dubbed it. People have dubbed it Blockchain 47. Blockchain 47. So it's interesting to see what it's going to be.
Can you allow me to make one statement?
Yeah, sure.
Kenyans, we are not fighting a tribal war. Do not fight your neighbor. Let us fight a war of intelligence. If you are the stronger one in the mind, win. But don't win with your hand. Don't win with your fist. Do not fight anyone. Don't create enemies. Young people, nothing is leaderless. Even hell has Satan. And heaven has Jesus. Only Gen Zs have nothing. But you can't blame them, because the people that they trust, most of them has been bought. But still, nothing is leaderless. The more, when you have a leader, you have a head. And when there is a head, you can see, you can speak, you can hear, you can smell. Just imagine.
You can move.
You can reason. That is the power of the head.
You can read.
You can read. So make sure you find your leaders, and make sure that those leaders find it worthy to serve you.
Thank you very much for being here this morning.
Maybe just you can allow me to just add something. If time had allowed, we were going to look at the National Tallying Center on the system. This is available to everybody, where the real-time result of the election is visible. Everybody can see what's happening. You can just follow it up.
So we don't need to go to Bomas.
You don't need to go to Bomas. You don't need those very strong headlines you guys put on TV during elections. Kivumbi. So it just becomes so simple, but it is verifiable. Another thing maybe we've not mentioned is that diaspora, we have over 4 million people, 4 million Kenyans in diaspora. Do you know how many of them actually voted in 2022?
Very few.
Less than 10,000. Less than 10K. With this system, everybody can just vote, even if you see, the more advanced a democracy is, the better maybe we can adopt technology. But we have not really matured as a country in terms of democracy. So even if they don't adopt this system fully, why not? Let's run it in diaspora. Let's see how it can process 4 million votes at least.
Let's begin. Is the question. Is the thing.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Governance expert John C.W., thank you for being here. Also, Jesse, thanks for joining us as well. And we look forward to the next time that we can talk. And it should not be too long, because these things, they will suffer from a space of silence. Asante sana for being here this morning. It's 12 minutes past 9. Conversations continue after this. Good morning.
94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who were initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it. If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Yeah, why don't tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship. And even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Our conversations continue at about 17 minutes after 9 o'clock. And even as we do, what's your plan? I'm asking what your plan is because we wrap up conversations, we're wrapping up the year, and you're not sure what's happening in 2026. Well, our good friends at ICEA Lion are saying this. You tell us what you're thinking about what your plan might be, and let's put it together for you in bite sizes that you can then live out that plan coming into the near future. You don't have to worry so much in terms of where other people are or what other people are doing, because a likelihood of you sitting around a table today where people talking about their plans in the next couple of weeks is actually growing. So what is it? You don't have to worry that you've been working hard and that maybe you haven't put a plan in place. You don't have to worry too much because you can start. Everyone else has a plan but me. I don't know when I'll get my act together. That feeling of needing to get your future locked down is real. But listen, getting a plan doesn't have to be intimidating or elitist. That's why I'm talking about ICEA Lion. They're cutting through the noise and masking, they're cutting through the noise and masking it. They're making financial planning relatable. Whether you're just starting out or looking to secure a future, their plans to help you build wealth, to protect your assets, and to prosper with retirement security. You can actually do it. All you need to do is visit icealion.co.ke and you don't have to worry too much about the future. Okay, sir. Without now 19, but what are we doing?
You see, now, even as you're planning, right, you need to plan to have internet connectivity that sorts you out. That is why Airtel Happy Hour Unlimited Fun Data Bundles is here to assure you that you're going to get connected in an affordable way. When you talk about affordability, you're talking about you spend 19 shillings, you get 1 hour of unlimited data. You spend 45 shillings, you get 3 hours of unlimited data. And the data we're talking about is able to help you stream, listen to your music. You're able to touch base with your loved ones. You know, summer bunnies are coming in. You need to stay in touch with them. They are flying in. You need to book tickets, you know. These data bundles will enable you to do that. Now, we have asked you to give us that story, fear of missing out, that has happened to you recently, which is a situation that you were part of, but you missed out because data cut short. It left you hanging. Talk to us. 3,000 shillings airtime from Airtel will be yours. Talk to us on our social media pages. We will get you there. But remember, even as we talk about getting these data bundles, how do you get it? The question, star 544 hash, or go to your My Airtel app on Play Store or on App Store, or buy yourself an Airtel SIM card from the closest or nearest Airtel shop.
Fantastic.
Get connected today.
Get connected today. Absolutely great. But let me tell you how you can make money by spending money. Doesn't make sense, does it? Well, it does with the new KCB winning card. And that's what we're calling it this morning. It's time to get paid for spending. Every time you spend, you think, oh my gosh, the hole in my pocket just got larger. But KCB Bank Kenya is launching a massive nationwide winning card. And it's your chance to turn everyday purchases into epic prizes. KCB is making their cards more convenient, secure, and rewarding payment options for everything you do. Every time you use your KCB debit, credit, and or prepaid card, you are automatically in the running. So you could win 10,000 shillings every week. You could win 100,000 shillings every month. And the grand prize, a luxury wellcation. That's the thing we've learned today. Wellcation.
Yeah.
A luxury wellcation will take you to the shores of Zanzibar. Use your KCB card now for shopping, fueling, and or online purchases, and make your card the winning card. Because you spend, you win. You spend 10K, you could win. You spend, you could win 10K weekly. You spend, you could win 100K monthly. You spend, and well again, you can wellcation your way to Zanzibar with the KCB winning card. So we'll on our social media, get there at SpiceFM KE on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on X. We tell you how you could actually win a little bit of something if you start winning with your KCB winning card. Sawa, give you more information about that in just a bit, but you can win by spending.
And you see how we're talking about it now is a question where if you just go to our social media pages, there is something that we spent our money on. So if you guess the amount that we spent on 3 things, right? So we spent on grocery, we spent on a gadget, and we spent on fuel. How much did we spend? If you guess that right, you get the money.
Which is, how much is this money?
Relax, 10,000 shillings. So just guess how much we spent, and you get to win.
All right, do that on our socials today with the KCB winning card, and we'll get into it this morning. All right, we want to then be able to hear from you today. We've heard a number of things. How actually Kenyans, you're walking around doing your business. You're in that job, you're in school, you're doing extra classes, you're in a sport, you're running a business. All of these things that you're doing are part of your existence, aren't they? You're also involved in this space, which is highly politically motivated. And people are telling you, on top of all of that, you will then be vested in your own sovereignty. You will be involved in the electoral process. You will be involved politically, and you'll also be involved where it comes to governance. I thought about something the other day, and I said, you know what, the people, and is the problem the people or the politicians? We've said that the politicians are the issue. We've said that they're the issue for the longest time. Yeah. But we want to hear from Kenyans this morning. Is there a problem, and is it the people or is it the politicians? We've long blamed the politicians as people, but then you've not done anything about it. So who's the problem? It's a question I'm asking. Who is the problem? We want to hear from you this morning. We want to hear from you on social media. We want to hear from you via phone call. But maybe it's time for us to have that conversation. And let's be real one-to-one, folks, here. Because if you have seen a problem and that problem is there over and over and over again, why won't you take it out?
You know, one always asks the question, it's a chicken and egg situation. What came first?
The politician or the person?
So let's ask the question. Between a politician and the person who's a Kenyan, who came first? Who creates a politician? And what do you do when your creation does not work for you?
If the thing is not working, then why do you still have such a difficult time taking it out? So who is the problem?
Because remember, even in the creation of this politician, in the creation of these offices that we do have, again we've said, read. Because that document that Kenyans bequeath themselves called the Constitution has something called a recall clause. And that recall clause, right, gives you an opportunity to get rid of the politician. But remember, the politician has not done anything to give that clause power. What are you doing as a person, as the people, to give that clause power?
We want to hear from you this morning, like I said, on our socials, and I know folks are commenting already, so just give it a minute. But I mean, don't have to give it a minute, but you can actually go ahead and let us know what your thoughts are. Is it time that we had a real conversation with ourselves and say that the problem is not the politicians that you put in positions, it is us, the people, because if you can be given lollipops and vote in a particular direction, if you can be given money and vote in a particular direction,
given a smile,
if somebody smiles at you, if they tell you to go and register to vote and you still don't register to vote, or even on voting day itself you don't come out to vote, who's the problem? If you continue to accept mediocre, you continue to accept nothing, and you still in that position, who is the problem? Let's talk, guys, and let's be very honest with ourselves this morning. And is it time for a hard stop, like John C.W. said this morning? Is it time for a reset? Factory settings, set it and say, no, guys, there's a new sheriff in town, and this new sheriff is observation, it's keenness. This new sheriff is awareness of the situation, and this new sheriff is the one who's going to actually, you know what, I'm saying no to some of these things, and we're not going to allow it anymore. So can we be honest with ourselves for today? Even if it's just today.
Yeah, I think it's about time we had that conversation, too. Why? Because for a very long time, we have pointed fingers the other side. We've never posed Kujita Mkutano in front of a mirror and asked ourselves the question, what are we doing to ourselves and to our country? Because remember, for these people to be in office, for the people that we keep on blaming, it is us who wake up early in the morning, who queue and give them that vote.
Or who don't.
Exactly, or who don't. So that begs the question, when you get out to vote, when you decide not to register as a voter, when you decide not to vote or to vote, whichever the case, who is the problem? Because remember, there is also a saying that says, a bad leader is elected by citizens who do not vote.
They said it. People have said it. The current governor of Nakuru sat in this chair and she said it. Leaders are a reflection of the people. We've had current CSs who've said it all the time. It's you people who voted them in. Members of parliament have come. They've told us, it's you people who voted us. If you see that we are so bad, I don't know what happened. We have seen people in the flesh who have gone into positions of leadership and changed.
Yes.
Changed. That's why I'm convinced. You know that thing that's in some churches when you go and then you wash your hands, you dip your hands as you walk into church?
Yes.
I swear. There's that thing.
Holy water.
There's that thing in some places where is it parliament? Is it some office where they go and wash there? Because some people actually change. Some people are not given an opportunity. So is it that people are making the wrong decisions, or that truly it is a crop of politicians who are not doing right by Kenyans? Who's in the majority?
I mean, do you see, even when you talk about corruption in the country, right? So let's just think about it. So here's corruption in the sense that it's during election time and you're being given a lollipop and leso and unga, right? And you take it because you say, I have to leave today. But remember, you're participating in an irregularity. You know, at the end of the day, someone has taken something from the public coffers, comes around during campaign period and gives you all this money. You take it because you say it is our time to eat. But remember what exactly you are doing to the power that you do have. You lose that power. You lose that power because at the end of the day, there is also talk in town that if I'm going to spend 5 billion shillings in my campaign, rest assured, once I get to that office, return on what? Return on investment is a reality.
Okay, so let's hear from you guys this morning. 0732 142 650 or 0732 142 652. We want to hear from you this morning. Folks, is it time for a reset? Is it time to say, actually, you know what? We are the problem in all of this. We say to the politicians, no, guys, it's not about you. It's me, it's not you. So let me fix myself, and then this whole thing between us will actually be fixed. We're hearing from you, and let's already kick it off this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, Du.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. My name is Otieno. I'm calling from Kabondo, Kasipul constituency.
Okay, now, Otieno, I need you to turn down the volume on your radio, please, sir.
Just a moment. There you go. Now.
Fantastic, Otieno.
I'm a millennial.
You're a millennial, okay?
Yes. I'm absolutely tired of what is happening in the country.
Okay.
As it is.
Yeah.
I'm in college with some Gen Zs, largely. And whenever we try to talk to them, the first thing they tell you is, Ruto atawin into your 2027. Hakuna kitu ingine mpya tutaona. It is disgusting that they have the power, people have the power to change what is happening in the country, but they choose not to change. I don't know who tells them that whatever is happening must continue happening. I don't know where they get this information from. As it is right now, we are the problem, not the politicians. Because the politicians, they don't fall from heaven. They come from us. We are the problem, as it is.
Okay.
The politicians are not the problem. Thank you.
I hear you, Otieno. It's very clear coming from Otieno in Kasipul this morning. The people are the problem. Let's take more of your calls as they come in this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
That's what I've done.
Okay, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Karajawa Weru.
Yes, Karajara.
And calling from Nakuru.
Yes, sir.
The problem is not the Wananchi.
It's not.
Really, because there are times we have elected lawyers, people who are very good in law. We have learned leaders whom we think when they go there, they will follow the constitution.
Yeah.
What do they do when they go to parliament? They trash every law and rule that protects the Mwananchi, but they uphold laws that protect them. Look at the situation. When they are increasing their salaries, the parliament is full. But when they are discussing Mwananchi, nobody is in that room. The quorum is not. So I believe we try to choose the best, but when they go there, whatever they eat or drink changes them to be what they are.
So you're saying the problem is the politician?
The problem is our leaders, because we choose the best to the best of our knowledge, but when they go into that house, they are brainwashed, or whatever they are given and eat and drink changes them not to represent the Momanyi, but to represent themselves.
All right, I hear you. Thank you very much for your call this morning. Let's take a couple more as they come in today. And it looks like, there's folks who are saying one to the other. We'll get more. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, dude.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Patrick calling from Nairobi.
Yes, Patrick. What are your thoughts? Who's the problem here?
I just wanted to say it's Kenyans.
It's Kenyans?
And it's because of the way we've been socialized. If you just look back at how the country was founded and what values were founded on, you will see where the rain started beating us, especially in regards to impunity. The land problem did not start today. We can remember how people in Taita were disenfranchised from their land.
Yeah.
We know who grabbed land right from the inception. So our country was founded on impunity. And the subsequent president actually just propagated the same culture.
Yeah.
So it's a culture, it's a mentality that is ingrained in even our children, whereby you, as parents, subconsciously even bribe your child to go to the shop and say, "Ntakubaiya sweetie." So when you blame the leaders, where do the leaders come from? Like I said last time, they don't come from planet Mars.
Yeah.
They come from this very society. And whether or not they rig themselves into government, by and large, most of them are voted into office by us.
Yeah.
So the most important thing right now is a paradigm shift. We need a Traore moment, a real Pan-African with real love for the country, with real vision. The vision should not be the stomach. But we have made politics so lucrative that it attracts the wrong kind of people. Not servitude, such as China, whereby politics doesn't pay well. So it's only people who have conviction and the love for country that will actually go for political office.
I hear you.
And then look at the parliament that we expect to legislate on our behalf and represent us. But who did you take there? So you sow say thorns and expect to reap apples, and then now blame the politicians and say they are the problem.
Yeah.
But who put them there?
Yeah.
Who put them there?
It's
so
a question.
it is for us to really have a paradigm shift. There has to be sensitization right to the grassroots, because that is why you find a situation whereby you defund education, because it's easy to influence someone who's not educated. So defunding education is actually a process in creating an oligarch. And also, keep them poor so that you can use bread to influence any action that they, you deem fit.
For them
that
to
they, yes. So, yeah, this is all calculated. And the systemic breakdown and loopholes, it's mechanized in that way to benefit the few.
Do you think that Kenyans understand the power that they do have in terms of their vote and decisions that they do make?
I don't think so. Because of the way they've been socialized. We've been socialized to, a microwave kind of mindset whereby, you're always looking for shortcuts. Yeah. And the ones that are conscious of the power of the vote are always ready to be influenced in somewhat way to the highest bidder. And then there is tribalism. Now, if you can say this is our thief, if you can say we are in government, but how does that we in government translate to services on the ground? I wouldn't mind even if it was a monkey in office, but I was getting services. I can take my children to hospital. There's free universal health care. The government is providing enough funding for school. There was a time that public schools were really, really good.
Yeah.
But then greed came in. So you stopped defunding public schools so that those that want to start up private schools can benefit. So you kill the public school. But then, now, education becomes the preserve of those that have money. Yeah? I mean, if you're talking about Singapore, and yet there are kids who are still learning under trees.
We can't.
We're being delusional.
We can't be. It's almost teaching on crazy. If you want to be able to have that conversation where the present reality is centuries away from that. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
I mean, Patrick, thanks for your thoughts this morning. Got to take some other calls from other folks today, but at the end of the day, I hear what you're saying is that the people have a responsibility, and all of this rests on the shoulders of the people.
Yes, thank you, Ndu, and Dennis.
Thank you so much.
Great show, always.
Asante sana, bro. Thank you so much. We're still taking your calls this morning. We'll hear from you. In the responsibility where nation building is it on politicians that we say, okay, you guys have been making a muck of this the whole time, or is it the people who finally have to sit up and say, guys, you have a job to be done, let's do it? We're taking your calls 0732-142-650. That's 0732-142-650 or 0732-142-652. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Malachi Ogamba from Nakuru City.
Yes, Malachi from Nakuru. What are your thoughts? Politicians or people? Who's got the work to do?
I think the problem we have is our politicians. But we also, as the citizenry, we have a problem. Because now we get pride to choose our leaders. That's the problem. That's number one problem. But you see also the problem with Kenyans. These politicians come with a very sweet language. You find even a professor of a university get easily convinced. You saw last time, Sister Ndo Okoh, you saw how people were being easily swept by hustler narrative. And you saw how even the politicians easily took away professors. The pastors who were supposed to be very spiritual, they were also there singing, hustler.
So who's the problem?
But now the problem is both of us.
Okay.
We don't have Pan-Africanism in us. Because now you see this guy in Burkina Faso, the Ibrahim Traore, he has the heart of their country in his heart. But now you see politicians, they always want to make money out of elective seats. And always, Africans have a problem. They don't choose a leader with good virtues, and they elect some, I sometimes call them bandits. Because they come with money. They have impoverished many Africans. Let me ask you, our guys there. Now you see accounts like Turkana County. They always get the counter allocation. But you see, there's no development at all. Once that count money is delayed, you see them making noise, oh, we have not received our counter allocation. Why is the government playing the counter allocation? But once it goes there, because the common Momanyi elected bandits, there's no development. Now I ask myself, why our county is demanding money, and yet some counties are so adversely affected. A county like Turkana, you cannot compare it with the Kiambu County, for example.
Okay, so what you're saying, essentially, Malaka, is that everybody has some work to do. The politicians, the leaders have work to do, and the people of Kenya have a lot of work to do as well.
I blame the electorate.
Okay.
That's the problem we have. And now, the same thing, if we are not going to come to ourselves, sometimes I don't know whether Kenyans should be hit with some hammers in the head so they come to their normal senses. Now, you see, we are going to repeat the same mistakes 2027.
Okay.
So all right. We must change as electorate. And once the politicians come with sweet language, let them tell them the truth, but they don't satisfy the Chapter 6 of the Constitution. They don't have integrity threshold.
Thank you very much for your call this morning. Let's get a call from some other folks this morning, thank you for your contribution. Asante Sana, that's highly appreciated. We'll hear from some others this morning. Not to forget, that number is 0732 142650 or 0732 142652. What are folks saying, Dennis?
Many are saying on the social media that the problem is us. That the electorate have just relaxed and are not doing anything. But let me just go through some that have been sent here. And debt is also an issue. That is according to one Mike Maranga. If Kenyans don't register to vote and get, he says Maraga and Omtata in 2027 in State House, hata sisi tutakuwa ni wajinga.
Okay.
So you look at Black Siginium, says 2 books to read, Kenyan Constitution and Singapore's publication by generations, 50 years of Tanasek available. And there is also people are the problem. That's according to Erica War. Have you paid close attention to how the density of dump has increased in Kenya, especially those who think the president will change this country into something like Singapore? And my prince says today Ruto is launching more taxes after being hugged and praised by the IMF. And we also have Ida Barak says Kenyans should rise above their ignorance and poverty and elect good leaders.
Yep.
Yes.
There's quite some coming in.
There's quite a lot coming in, and many continue to send in their comments on the same. And Mtoflani says, the problem is the ignorant voter.
The ignorant voter, it's interesting that we bring that now into this discussion because there is, right now, today, as we speak, today, you can go to very many stations around the country and register as a voter. You can actually do that.
You can.
The IEBC is running that exercise. In fact, what they told us is that after the by-election, there was going, what was the word that they used? Robust. Was it robust? I can't remember. Anyway, it was one of those adjectives. For the voter...
enhanced.
Thank you. Voter registration exercise that was going to take place after the by-election. So you should be able to go and register today.
Yes.
Those are one of the steps that you can take towards that. It doesn't matter what people are going to say, do. Have you registered? Register as one of the ways that you can get into this. And let's even look at that as an issue. We'll hear from you. Who is the problem here? Is it the people or the leaders? 0732142650 or 0732142652. We're taking calls this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Is it KTN?
This is Spice. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Kinwa.
Yes, Kinwa.
And I'm calling from Mombasa.
Yes, Kinwa.
Yes, I just wanted to add some little...
Okay, what are your thoughts in this problem that Kenya is in currently? Is it the people who are not doing their job, or is it the leaders who have a problem?
You know what, madam? When you are an alcoholic,
you
want to get away from alcoholism, you have to accept that I'm an alcoholic.
Yes.
Then, so what now to say? The problem in Kenya is from all of us.
Okay.
The people are tribalists and the leaders, because God says that the leaders should just lead the uneducated, the wanyonge, but our leaders are just getting away from it. They are not helping. They just look like the way there are some parts of Kenya you don't have title deeds, like Mombasa, let's say. Not fair. We have leaders who have gone to God, churches, and mosques. And then when you come to, when somebody does a problem or a scandal, example, let's say there's a scandal, but that man is from my side. You don't talk. But when it comes from the other side,
then we talk.
We talk it. So tribal is the big problem. Partiality happening right there. Singapore, let's talk about Singapore. How did we Kenya start to develop? Kibaki started the development. We cannot go to Singapore just like that. This guy is talking the truth. We are going to the Singapore surely. But we have to start step by step.
Absolutely.
Kibaki made the sticker roll. That is how we advance. Uhuru made express. You see, Moi did Kasarani. So this guy is going in like that. When he's finished, he's finished. So if we don't accept ourselves, then in short, what I'll say that the perspective of tribalism, man has to come from our side so that we can support. Even if he does bad, you don't talk. But when somebody comes from not your side, you talk.
I hear you.
If he's not doing bad.
Thank you very much for your thoughts this morning, Kenya. Well, let's hear from some other folks this morning. Thank you for that contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Please, your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Robert, calling from Doha.
Yes.
How are you this morning?
We are fine, thank you. How are things in Doha?
Things are cool here. I just wanted to make a little bit of contribution to today's debate.
Yes.
In Kenya, we have a very big problem of these people, so-called kingpins. Because somebody should be made a kingpin because of what he has done or the contribution to the country. But most of these people who want to be kingpins, when you look at their background, they have done absolutely nothing. Just want to make them kingpins because maybe they have money, they are giving us unga and everything.
Yeah.
The moment they get into power, the first thing they want to do is to recoup their money. So when somebody gives you unga and when he becomes president, 300 billion goes missing, we shouldn't ask any questions. He is paying back for the unga.
I hear you.
Yes. So what we should do is we have a very big problem. I don't know what we should do because as much as we try to educate people, they are hungry.
So is the problem the people or is the problem that a situation that was caused by leaders over time that the people are now experiencing? Where's the problem?
The leaders themselves orchestrate these problems. They orchestrate the poverty because they know if these people are enlightened and they are not waiting for you for unga and handout, you can't control them.
You won't be able to control them. There you go.
Yes.
Thanks for your thoughts, Robert.
So control all these poverty, all these problems so that at the end of the day, they'll give you that 200 shillings, 500 shillings. They can load you into buses to go and sing 500 kilometers from your home area. That's what they want.
Asante sana, Robert, for your contributions this morning. We hear from others, but thanks for your call coming in from Doha. Asante sana.
Welcome.
Thank you. More calls coming in this morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
My name is Joseph Ndiki.
Yes, Joseph.
I'm calling from Kisii.
All right. What are your thoughts around this?
Yeah. Now, the problem is both the politicians and the Kenyans.
Okay. How so?
Because your position as a Kenyan, I can say, is permanent. A politician is on a temporary contract of 5 years. So these are people you can change at the election. But the problem with Kenyans, they are given few inducements, like you saw the other day, lollipop, mattresses, and then they elect people without knowing what exactly they are going to do for them.
Okay.
Because of the inducement. So if Kenyans became serious, they can elect good leaders, because Kenya is not short of
good leaders. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your call. Absolutely. If Kenyans got it right, they would then be able to elect good leaders.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for that, Joseph. We'll hear from others this morning as well. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Called Francis.
All right, we'll take your calls this morning. It's 0732-142-650 or 0732-142-652. We want to hear from you, and we want to know what your thoughts are around whether the issues are coming from the leaders that you elect, or you, the ones who are making the decision during an election. We'll hear from you this morning. We'll take a few more minutes to take your calls in today, and let's see if we can get a few more of those in. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, this is Christogonas from Kisumu.
Yes, good morning. Please turn on the volume on your radio.
The problem is the system.
I need you to turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
I've turned it. I'm away from the radio.
Okay, what is the problem?
The system, the colonial system.
Okay.
You know, when we have selected our leaders, they are being called to go to the colonial, so that they might be told on how to govern the country.
Oh, they go to, so this, when we elect the leaders, they're called by the former colonialists and told how to,
to govern. So in that case, even if you have selected a good leader, like the current president who is here,
yes,
how good was he?
Tell us.
I don't know, maybe.
But then after he was called by the colonialists, he came to change the way he wanted to live.
Okay.
So the problem is the system, not the people or the citizens.
Okay. Asante Sana, thanks for your call this morning. Good to hear from you. Let's hear from some others as we close down. Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from. And please turn down the volume on your radio. Please turn down the volume on your radio, sir.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Please turn down the volume on your radio so that we can hear you and you can hear us. All right, that's gone. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio, sir, and then tell us your name and where you're calling from. Hello? Okay, we'll take some other calls this morning. They're coming in hot. 0732-142-650 or 0732-142-652. The questions abound as to whether it is the electorate who has an issue or the politicians and leaders that you put into place. Should we take two more calls and see if we can give people an opportunity to speak? Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Yes, hello, good morning. This is Paul from Juja.
Yeah.
Okay, please speak up just a little bit, Paul.
The problem is the executive.
The executive?
Bribing the MPs.
Okay, maybe we can't hear you very well, Paul. Maybe just a little bit clearer. Let's see if we can get that a bit clearer.
Bribing the MPs. Hello.
Yes, yes.
And about elections.
Okay, so maybe we can see if we can get a clearer line on that and take a couple more calls as we get into it this morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Awiti from Kisumu.
Yes, Awiti.
The problem is with the people. The because you may find a leader who has got a very good manifesto.
Yeah.
Because the pocket is narrow, the people will not elect for her. So the problem is with the people.
Okay.
And the hunger with the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Owiti, for your contribution this morning. Let's take a couple more as we get into it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please let us know your name and where you're calling from.
Called Francis from Ugunja.
Yes, Francis from Ugunja. What are your thoughts around this? Is it the people or the politicians?
In my opinion, it is both.
Okay.
It's the people in the sense that they always want to be given money. And they tend to vote for those who gave them money instead of those who can do the job well. And it's the politicians also because of this bad culture of dishing out money to the electorate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hold both responsible.
Both are responsible, not just one. All right.
Yes.
Thank you for your contribution this morning. Let's take a couple more. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Alice. I'm calling from Kisumu County.
Yes, Alice, what are your thoughts around this?
Okay, for the longest time, I have always hated politics because I've always felt that politics in our country lacks substance.
Yes.
And also, I've always yearned for politicians in our country just to at least take the path of teaching the people so that people can be able to connect where the money is being lost with what the current political bigwigs claim to be doing. And with that, I really feel there will be the much needed change in our country to be able to move forward. So for me, I really feel politics being taught to the people, it's very, very crucial, at least for me.
So are the people the issue? Are the people the issue, or are the leaders who are elected by the people the issue?
Okay, for me, I feel it's both the people and the leaders, because the people always accept to be swayed each and every time, yet they know the right thing to do. And the leaders are always coming from a place of, they also know the right thing to do, but they choose to lie to the people. So for me, I feel since the people hold the much power, they should resist and refuse to be lied to. They should just tell the leaders directly that this is what needs to be done, and you are lying to us. We shouldn't accept that. Yes,
indeed.
So for me, I feel if the people are able to be grounded and stand on what they'll be living, there'll be really good change in our country moving forward.
Asante Sana, Alice, for those comments, and that is how we end it this morning with comments from you. Thank you so much for calling in this morning. Really do appreciate your call. All right, so that's what we hear from you folks today. And it seems as though the people of Kenya have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
And that cannot be run away from.
Whichever way you want to look at it, the people must work on themselves for us to get it right.
Indeed. And even as we close this out this morning, I want you to forget about basic payment. KCB has a card for everybody. Are you a young professional? Do you have a heavy, busy family? Or are you a high net worth individual? KCB has got you covered. They offer a full suite of credit, debit, and prepaid cards partnered with the biggest global names, MasterCard, Visa, Union Pay. That's a global acceptance right in your wallet. Stop fumbling with cash. Get the secure, flexible power of a KCB card and dominate your spending. Whether you're managing a corporate account or just paying for coffee, KCB cards, your card, your way. And it's a winning card with KCB, isn't it? That you can spend and win 10,000 shillings a week. Spend and win 100,000 shillings a month. Spend and win. Get onto our socials today, SpiceFM KE on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X, and get to know how you could win 10,000 shillings if you tell us how much we spent on those 3 items.
Yes, groceries, fuel, and a new gadget.
How much did we spend? Tell us how much we spent.
Yes.
We'll throw you 10,000 bob if you get it right this morning. And we do that. Flavier is putting all of that on our socials today. It's winning with KCB. Thank you for starting off this week with us on The Situation Room. It's 2 minutes past 10. Have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll talk again tomorrow, God willing. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Tis the news wire. I'm Lau Obaga. The autopsy of former Lugari MP, the late Cyrus Jirongo, is scheduled to take place today as questions continue to be raised about the circumstances of his death. Jirongo's family, through the funeral committee chairman and former Westlands MP Fred Gumo, have raised concerns over the incident, demanding answers from the police. Police say Jirongo died following a road accident involving his car and a bus on the Nakuru-Naivasha highway on Saturday morning. However, the family has questioned the report.
Mheshimiwa Jirongo was left Karen at around 11:30, going home, which is here. And he was found dead in Naivasha, traveling from Naivasha side to Nairobi, driving alone. So when he made this accident, she was now coming to Nairobi instead. So we don't know what they are going to do in Naivasha, and we are just asking the government. It's only the government that can find out. There are cameras these days all over. They must have seen this car. They must have detected this car as it left Karen going towards Naivasha, and when it turned, coming this way. So that's what the family is very concerned about.
The family has announced that Jirongo will be buried on December 30th at Lumakanda in Kakamega County. Iteso community spokesperson Okoh Kaunya has urged Trans Nzoia County Governor George Natembeya to insist on the implementation of the 2011 Mabanga Peace Accord. The Mabanga Accord was signed by the 3 communities in the presence of former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka to promote unity and integration among the communities of Trans Nzoia and Bungoma counties.
Mimi nataka tu kukuomba, Your Excellency, kuna ile accord ambayo iliwekwa sahihi ambayo inaitwa Mabanga Peace Accord, ambayo ilijumulishwa Wabukusu, Wateso na Wasabot. Huwa tunataka kukaa kwa amani na tunataka haki ya kila mtu na tunataka inclusion. Katika serikali yako tunakuomba usisitize hiyo, ndio hii jamii wapate haki yao. Wabukusu wapate haki yao, Wasabot pia wapate haki yao. Ingine ni kupata nafasi ya cultural center ya Wateso ya kuweka kimila yao.
On his part, Natembeya has named the Iteso community as one of those that have supported his government and promised to continue the partnership.
Mambo ya shamba tumeongea pale, tuko na uwanja wetu hapa wa museum karibu ekari 85. Jamii zetu zote za Trans Nzoia wako na nafasi hapo. Wakati Wateso mtakuwa tayari, mnataka kuja kujenga culture